Okay, so we're talking about our, yeah. So what we can do is, yeah, as soon as the time starts, so we're gonna take a 10-minute break and then come back, and until then we can still talk about the plan. So yeah, it's better. So guys, what you can do is we're gonna let's start our hybrid lab. At least let me give the instructions. So have your VM started and have internet connection, and that would be also yeah, I was gonna say bridge, but it's okay. Yeah, NAT is also okay. So one NIC must be on NAT. I think that's the second NIC. The second one. Second NIC must be. Okay, it's not must be on NAT. One. Okay, second NIC must be on NAT. Other than that, log into Azure, and well, we're gonna create our we will create our Vnet and a storage account, and vault inside Azure Site Recovery, ASR, right? ASR. So, okay. And I'll just put here. And am I recording that? Yes. So recording is going and on. So guys, what we can do is you can take yeah, short break here, and 6:20 we can start. Then we'll go straight till 10, or another short break that you can ask at I don't know, 9 o'clock or 8:50. So but just make sure that this lab is ready and you're logged into Azure. Also, I'll just start this one short break at 8:30. Okay, 8:30, one short break. Sure. Okay, so short break, and that is 10 minutes. So that's class starts at 6:21. Let's get going. Resuming. So what we need to do is let's start our machine. So I'm just gonna create the machine. Let's just first talk about what we need to do. And so I'm on the other screen. I'm actually starting that. I'll just go for on the screen. I'm actually starting that. Okay, yeah. So let's carry on. So first of all, what we are doing. So the main purpose that we discussed yesterday as well, or last class as well, was that our on-premises lab will be on-prem, on premises Hyper-V VM will be on-premises Hyper-V VM will be configured with its failover partner, failover passive standby partner in Azure. So that's what we want to achieve. It's obviously all the steps are hands-on, live. So hopefully it all works fine. This is every time when I do the lab, I say that. Okay, so this means that if there is a Hyper-V machine here, this is Hyper-V, right? So this Hyper-V should have Hyper-V, which is hypervisor, right? Now here we're going to create a virtual machine. And that virtual machine should have internet connection, obviously. So the internet connection has to be there on the hypervisor. Internet must be enabled on hypervisor. Right? I'm going to check that out as well. And what happens in the cloud is that there we're going to create in Azure passive or standby VM. And obviously we discussed that last class as well, and I'm going to ask again. Hopefully everyone remembers that what kind of replication will be going on between the two machines. So that is active VM, and this is going to be, well, I already wrote about this passive VM. So it's going to be sync. Okay. So yes, as we talked about before, it's going to be sync. Yeah. Okay, so first it was synchronous. We have talked about that before. So synchronous replication and asynchronous replication, right? So obviously this would be for when async. There you go. So async between VM and Azure, exactly. So this would be asynchronous replication, right? When we're talking about WAN. So now this is kind of a stunt. Like Azure needs to discover, obviously, that which on-premises machine it is connecting to, and so for that, obviously, we need to have everything configured and perfectly enabled inside. So first thing what we're going to do is we're going to go down to our on-premises environment and check out if we can, if everything is okay. So what everything is okay. So first of all, I'm just going to go to my VMware workstation, right? So I've opened my VMware workstation. And in this VMware workstation, I have that machine that I created or started yesterday. So I'm just going to power it on. And in last class, actually, we have already installed Hyper-V. But if you want to install Hyper-V, so just make sure that if I right-click the settings here, and it has to be Windows Server 2016. If you're using Windows Server 2012, then it's a longer way to configure, Hyper-V inside VMware. So But if you're having that Windows Server 2016, so in VMware Workstation, in the virtual machines processor, just make sure that virtualize Intel VT is checked, and you will be able to install Hyper-V inside your Windows Server 2016, which is inside your VMware Workstation, right? So we talked about that last class. So I'm just starting that machine. Coincidentally, my machine is actually domain controller as well. Now this particular lab does not require, or even it's not recommended to have a domain controller there. Domain controller to be the Hyper-V, and then in a small company, yes, you can do that, but obviously this machine should be a member server of a domain and Hyper-V installed inside and the virtual machine inside Hyper-V. So in my case, it is a domain controller. I think a majority of us have a domain controller here that has an Hyper-V. So it's not supposed to be having any issues, but I have this document here that I've created and removed all the errors there, because that obviously I don't do that every day. Windows Server 2016 installed with internet connection, so okay. So I'm just going through that. We already have Hyper-V role. We have what I want to make sure is configured is that through Hyper-V, the internet connection is reachable to the virtual machine. And what we can do inside the virtual machine is we can do one more thing. We can go for server core, but that's gonna take much longer time, and some of us may or may not be able to do that, but yes, we need to still go ahead. So I'm just gonna go down to that on Azure. So first of all, what are the things that we need to check? Okay, finally my machine has started, so I'm just gonna log into my domain controller. It doesn't have to be a domain controller, but I have it, so I'm logging into it. So I'm going to start the Hyper-V manager now. I'm going to go to Tools and start Hyper-V Manager, this one. So Tools, Start, and then Hyper-V Manager. Once you click the Tools and Hyper-V Manager in Windows Server 2016, so the says make sure that your Hyper-V server has at least 4 GB RAM so you can create VMs inside. Oh yes. So minimum 4 GB RAM, yes. It should not be 2 GB. So your Windows Server 2016 that you're creating should have enough RAM. If you have a total of 8 GB RAM in the laptop, then yes, 4 GB, more than 4 GB is okay. Otherwise, go for more RAM there.
Hi, Amir.
Yeah.
Amir, there's a question. What's the big difference between if you install the Windows Server and then Hyper-V roles enabled on it, or just the Hyper-V server instead of any operating system, just act as an operating system, and then you can work on it? So what's the big difference?
Yeah, there's definitely a big difference here. So what we're doing is there's an OS, and then on top of that OS, we're installing this Hyper-V, and inside then Hyper-V we have virtual machine, compared to if you have direct. So normally there are two types of hypervisors there, Hypervisor 1 and Hypervisor 2, since we're talking about this. So Hypervisor 1, right, and Hypervisor 2. So Hypervisor 1 is used in professional environments, used in data centers. Why? Is deployed directly on a hardware. Okay, so what's the big deal with that? I'll just quickly put that on. So it's deployed on a hardware, directly on a hardware or bare metal machine, and it uses for its own running a very less RAM, HDD, processor, right? And then all the hardware remaining hardware is used for virtual machine. So for its own running, it does not use a lot of hardware. So well, then it just offers everything else, the remaining hardware, to the virtual machine. Hypervisor 2, it is used for training purpose. This is our Hypervisor 2 right now, training purpose, first thing. And second thing is, it is installed on top of an OS. It is slower than Hypervisor 1, and that well, it is for training environment, so the OS uses more RAM, processor, proc, HDD for its own running. So comparatively lesser hardware is available for the virtual machines, right? So obviously that's why production environments, operating system based hypervisors are not used. VMware Workstation is a Hypervisor 2, and whatever hypervisor you install on top of an operating system is a Hypervisor 2. And yes, so as Chintan says, Hypervisor 1 better performance than nested one. So, well, that's the difference between Hypervisor 1 and Hypervisor 2, or the one that installed directly on the hardware that is installed on the OS. So that, yes, there's a big difference, and only in data centers and companies in production environments you only use Hypervisor 1. So that's the difference.
Thank you so much. And one thing, the last questions about the Hypervisor 1, the license, how that works, the license. I hope I don't take too much time for the other friends, but just one quick question.
Well, how does the license work? You purchase a license for 1 year, and you open all the features of either Hyper-V or ESXi Standard, ESXi Enterprise Edition. I think there's only one ESXi Hypervisor Edition. So how does it work? Well, you purchase the license, you give the license to it, and it starts working with full features. I'm not sure what else to say about that.
So, okay, thank you. Because I heard that Microsoft Hypervisor is like kind of free, yes, but compared to VMware, right?
So VMware is licensed, and it is not free. VMware free version is having limited features. Yeah, testing purpose, but it's limited features. And yeah, trial version is 60 days in VMware ESXi. Okay, license based on how many VMs you want run. Any amount of VMs, Mohammed. So it would be VMs we can run according to how much RAM, how much processor, how much hard disk we have. So license does not stop us from actually, on standard operating system. So if you go for Windows Server 2016, suppose standard one, so then you install Hyper-V inside. So there are limited number of virtual machines allowed to create there, but if you install operating system data center, then you can create unlimited number of virtual machines, or whatever your RAM, processor, and hard disk support, that much. So data center version would be, yeah, the main thing. Okay, so we're working inside Hypervisor 2. Ours is a test environment, but when we do the VMware full course, so there we install Hypervisor 1 inside Hypervisor 2. That's the fun part. Okay, well, in the test environment, obviously. So I'm just going to go back to this. This is Hyper-V, and we have our OS there. So let's just check our virtual machine. Does it have internet connection, and does the virtual machine inside the Hyper-V have connectivity to well, mainly our virtual machine here, this virtual machine, now this Hyper-V should have internet connectivity. We're just going to double check that. I'm just going to go back here. Obviously we have a connection. I'm just double checking. So get updates and minimize. Yes, I have internet connection, and I'll just put that browser up, and so yep, so it's opening fine as well. Okay, we're good. So yeah, let's go ahead. That's the first step. We have Hyper-V, we have a virtual machine, and we have internet on the Hyper-V. So that's good enough. And let's go ahead and try to first create a new Vnet on top of the Azure environment. Now, what do we need to do? Obviously, we need to tell Azure that there is a active machine on premises somewhere in the branch. So how to tell Azure that? Obviously, we need to go through certain steps. So what we did is we checked our on-prem environment, one VM internet connection is there. Now, once we go for, let's configure our Azure as well, right? So for that, let's create a Vnet. Obviously, when you create a Vnet, the subnet, resource group, all three things get created automatically anyway. So resource group, and once we create that, then we're going to go to ASR or Azure Site Recovery and try to create that too. So let's create Vnet, subnet, and resource group. So let's go to Azure. Okay, where's Azure? Oh, I think, let me just, so once we log into Azure, portal.
Amir, very quick question. We are going now to create a passive, right, or active machine in the Azure, right?
Yeah, we're going to create a passive machine in Azure.
Okay, so the question is, it should be the same specification of the virtual machine on premises, or it can be different?
It will be an exact copy of the active machine in Hyper-V.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so here I'm inside Azure and I'm going to go to portal menu, and we know this drill already. Let's click the virtual networks here, or Vnet, and we're going to create the resource group and subnet also in the process of creating a Vnet. So let's click the Vnet first. And in the Vnet, let's click add button here. And let me check if I have a source group. Thank God I don't. I'm going to click create new. And in the create new. So I'm just going to go for RG. And today's date, 30th of OCT 2020. And that's it. Okay, press OK here. RG 30th October 2020. Name. Here we can just go your first name, Vnet, or whatever name you want to give, and it's definitely not West US. Let's go to East US. And once you have given this basic detail, I'm going to click IP addresses, and in the IP addresses we have already subnet defined here. I'm not going to click this, and it's going to still create that, but if I create a new one, then I have to select that. If I don't select this one, it should create that subnet, right? So let's check it out and click security. In security, we don't need to configure anything, and click tags. So in the tags, well, nothing here. Oh, sometimes I start giving that name here. Okay, I'll just give a name here, and that is Vnet for hybrid active passive VM. Seriously, that was a long name. Vnet for hybrid active passive VM. Okay, or give some name there, right? And review plus create. And then create. Once we create that, Oh, seriously? Done? You kidding me, Azure? Are you okay, Azure? Okay, so it's done, and let's check it out. So I'm just gonna go to portal menu and click the virtual networks here. It's just done. I mean, like as if we are on premises right now. So anyway, it's done, and let's go for the next steps as well. So if I go to my million screenshots here, and there are arrows here. Once a student was saying, hey, how did you bring the arrows in your actual environment? So he didn't realize that it was screenshots that I was looking. Okay, so create storage account. So we're going to create a storage account as well. I'm just going to put that here as well. Create a storage account. Why? Because we need to store some of the stuff that this storage account will be used for the virtual machine, that passive virtual machine that will be created. If I go back to the diagram here, this one, so this is the active VM, this is the passive and standby VM, so it has to have a storage up there. So for that, we're going to create a storage now. So let us create a storage as well. So I'm going to go to the portal menu here and go down to storage accounts. Z is the one, and then click add. So here, resource group, obviously, I'm going to click that and go for RG 30 October. Once that is selected, then obviously the storage account name. So just like you gave, so your first name, SA is a storage account, and then 30OCT2020, and this time I'm going for monthly. Okay, so must be Kapsa Mandi. Okay, I have many other names. Okay, so here, and yeah, those are all Arabic dishes, and I'm craving for those. So, and we're all waiting for Mohammed to pass the exam. So let's pray for him after, okay. So yeah, East US, and then here there is performance standard, and storage v2 is okay. Read access geo redundant. We talked about all this. So that's it. Just give a name, give a resource group, and click next. Networking. Here, yeah, public endpoint is okay. Network, Microsoft routing is okay. Defaults are okay. Data protection. Everything else is good in data protection, and click advanced. Secure transport, so all the defaults are okay. Yeah, all the defaults are okay, so nothing to change here, and click tags. So this is also, I'll click name here, and there's a Vnet for hybrid active passive VM, so I'm just gonna select this name, but this is a storage account, so SA. I'm just going to change Vnet to SA for hybrid active passive VM, just to name the purpose, and click review plus create. So the storage account we will create now. So yeah, storage account is getting created, done. So I'm just going for the screenshots here, and you can see how much effort is required. Now we go for Azure. On Azure, creating a recovery services vault. Okay, what is this? What does it do? So that's the exact main configuration that's going to help us create an active passive partner. So create. So let's go for that. Okay, I'll just write that. Create recovery services vault. Okay, so what is recovery services vault? And let's check it out here in Azure. So I'm in this for replication. Chintan says replication. Yeah, so recovery services vault actually does two things. One is backup, other is exactly as you said, replication. So recovery services vault offers, so recovery services vault offers backup. So when you were going for backup, it was also offering to create a vault. So vault is created either for replication or for backup. Backup and recovery and replication, sorry. Right? So that's what it does. So let's go there to Recovery Service Vault in Azure and try to check out what are the features. So I'm going to go to this search here, and I'll type here recovery. And when you type recovery, there's only one service called Recovery Services Vault. So let's click Recovery Services Vault. So there's the Recovery Services Vault here, and it says here, our disaster recovery and data protection strategy keeps your business running when unexpected events occur. Get started by creating a Recovery Services Vault. Okay, so, and you can see that, learn more about recovery, learn more about site recovery. So it talks about all that. So I'm just going to click that add button here, add. So guys, from here it's going to get trickier. So, well, I click that button and Recovery Service Vault is there, and obviously we need to define our resource group for today. So today's resource group is this. And second thing is, now it's asking the vault name. That's where we're gonna tell it that, hey, there is a replication we want you to do. Second thing, we're gonna tell it that the actual active machine is on premises. It's not in Azure, it's somewhere else. It's down on Earth somewhere, right? Oh, okay. This vault is also on Earth. So vault name here, your first name, VAULT, vault, 30th OCT 2020, and I think it doesn't need a unique name, so I'll spare the food. Okay, food name. So region, East US. So we've given a vault name, we've given a resource group, that's all. Let's click tags. And I'll go for name, and so instead of storage account or Vnet for hybrid, I'm going to go for vault for hybrid active passive lab. I'll change the name from just the vault. Okay, so once we give the name here, then we click basics. Really? Okay, so it took us to the basics. We should have just gone for the review plus create, right? So just the name and review plus create, that's all. Review plus create, and then create default backup configuration for storage replication type is set to geo-redundant. Oh yeah, geos. Okay. So this is just the, the storage, underlying storage is talking about, and soft delete, that if you delete something, you want to recover it for what, 1 year or 6 days, 7 days. So let's click create here, and once the vault is created, then we're going to go ahead. So everything then now starts about the replication. It starts here. Wow, it's too fast here. What is right with the GDA right now? So creating a recovery services vault. Yeah. So guys, also one more thing. These screenshots are like when they used to show the classic view of Azure. So that's nice to know how it used to look like. Maybe after a few hundred more courses, when I show that, these screenshots should be in the museum after that. So, but once it is created, so we need to go to the resource here, and we need to actually click the site recovery, and that's where we tell it in the site recovery that what other site. So when we talk about site recovery, if I go to the diagram, this other site or Toronto branch, suppose, needs to be introduced to the site recovery. Azure, the vault that we created, that vault needs to know, oh, this is the other site you're talking about. Okay, so now we need to introduce that. How? Let's go ahead. That's going to be a lot of steps now, and it's going to make sure that it knows and it has a communication with that machine. And let's do that now. So once the vault is created, let's go inside the vault and check where's the site recovery in the getting started. I'm just going to go back here. So I'll click that go to resource, or you can just go for site recovery. If you click here, there's a recovery services vault already showing here. And if I go to recovery services vault, that's the only vault I created. Now you can create a vault for backup or for replication, you know that, right? So I'm going to go inside the vault here, and there is all that But you can see in the getting started, first of all, well, there are two things it shows in the overview: backup, enable site recovery, right? So we're into site recovery right now. So I'm just going to go back to getting started, and there's a second one is site recovery. Now below that is protected items. Once you have successfully configured everything in the under the getting started, then whatever was configured shows up in these protected items under the protected items area. Anyway, let's go to site recovery. And then it says that protect your infrastructure for disaster recovery. Azure Site Recovery protects your data center from disasters and helps business continuity. And it says there, hey, what do you want to do? Azure virtual machines, protect your Azure virtual machines for disaster recovery by replicating to another Azure region. Okay, you know, we this is something that is done with virtual machines. And then virtual machines to Azure. What is that? Protect your virtual machines for disaster recovery by replicating to Azure. So prepare infrastructure, enable replication, manage site recovery. This is our thing, but then there is this one as well. In fact, this looks like our thing. Hyper-V virtual machines to Azure. Protect your Hyper-V virtual machines for disaster recovery by replicating to Azure, and this also requires prepare infrastructure. So obviously, you know, they will create some kind of change there. So I'm just going to click the third one, which is obviously our machine is in Hyper-V. So that pretty much suits us. Well, then what is this? This one would be, oh, it clearly says VMware virtual machines, right? So then it will tell you what to do, but here Hyper-V is there. So let's click the prepare infrastructure, right? This one, prepare infrastructure. So once we click the prepare infrastructure, and there is the deployment planning here, and it says allocate sufficient network bandwidth and other resources to avoid any replication issues. So obviously we're pretending we have a lot of network bandwidth there, and we really spent thousands of dollars on that. And then there is a download and run deployment planner to estimate network bandwidth, storage, and other requirements. So there's that software that you can download as well, that can tell you actually, that can run and explore and discover your on-premises environment, how much storage you have, how much network bandwidth you have over the internet. So that's also a good thing for a production environment. Then it says deployment planning completed. So have you done the planning, or yes, I have done it, or I will do it later? Okay, so which one we choose to skip it? So yes, we have done it, right? Yes, we have done it. So deployment planning is done. And let's click next, right? And then it says, are you using System Center Virtual Machine Manager to manage Hyper-V hosts? Now, what is SCVMM? I think some of us know that already. But what happens is that there are, we talked about that before as well, that if you have a VMware environment and you have a lot of hypervisors there, suppose you have VMware ESXi hypervisors here, and so I'll just click that here as well. Copy and then paste, and then you also have Hyper-V hypervisors. So these are VMware ESXi hypervisors, and then you have Hyper-V hypervisors, right? So Hyper-V hypervisors. So either you can remotely connect to each hypervisor and maintain them, or you get a more expensive central enterprise grade application. In case of VMware, you can purchase vCenter. So it would be vCenter Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, whatever number of advanced features you want. So it's going to be vCenter. This is a central application, and that central application for Microsoft is SCVMM, which is System Center Virtual Machine Manager. So this also centrally handles all the hypervisors and virtual machines inside, and they are obviously expensive licenses there. Chintan says vCenter for Hyper-V. Yeah, so SCVMM is vCenter for Hyper-V. Otherwise, vCenter is for basically VMware environment, but SCVMM is from Microsoft, a central application that controls the whole virtual environment of Microsoft, the Hyper-V environment. Okay, so it's asking, hey, do you have a central application here called, does it have free trial? Because it's, yes, SCVMM has a free trial. Yes, and you can test it. Okay, so here, source settings. Are you using System Center Virtual Machine Manager to manage Hyper-V host? I did that. I taught that in George Brown College. We did all the labs there as well. It's in LMS. So, are you using System Center Virtual Machine Manager Hyper-V hosts? And no, we're not using that, right? So, exactly. So Hyper-V site. Now, what is your Hyper-V site and what is your Hyper-V server? So please select a Hyper-V site to fetch the server list. But since we did not introduce the Hyper-V site here, so we're gonna click Add Hyper-V site, right? So we need to add that. If I drop down, there's nothing here because there is no site name coming here. So it needs to discover our on-premises site, which is this inside the virtual VMware workstation. So I'm just gonna click that, add Hyper-V site. So once we click the add Hyper-V site here, so it says, okay, just give it a name. Okay, Toronto, oh, Dordono. Wow, that's a new city. I'm great. Toronto site, and dash in bracket on dash Prem. Right? So Toronto site on Prem, and press O and K. So once you put some name there, and I'll press OK. And one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna stop the processing here. Okay, so it says no servers were found. Successfully created Hyper-V site. It just created a name there, but it says no servers were found. Obviously, no servers were found because we haven't gone through the process of detecting a server. It's gonna give us a file that we need to download and run on Hyper-V, and from Hyper-V, that agent, actually that file will be an agent that will communicate from that Hyper-V to this Azure. So let's click that add Hyper-V server, right? So I'm gonna click that add Hyper-V server, and now it tells us, hey, follow these steps. So obviously we need to follow these steps. Adding Hyper-V server makes take 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Register your Hyper-V hosts. So what do we do? What do we need to do to register our Hyper-V host on premises? Make sure the host is running Windows Server 2012 R2 or above. So that is okay. Second thing is configure proxy setting and ensure each host can access the service URL. So now these service URLs are the Azure URLs. We already have connection to the whole of internet, so we're good with point 2 as well. If I click that service URLs here, so this is the storage URL, Azure Active Directory URL, and then replication URL, Hyper-V recovery manager dot Windows Azure. So well, can you? It's just basically asking, can you access these recovery URL? So yes, we are connected to internet, so it's okay. In companies, sometimes they block such sites, so you just need to do that in the company network. Then it says download the installer for the Microsoft Azure Site Recovery Provider. So this is the installer we need to download and copy inside our Hyper-V and run it there. And what it's going to ask is, first it's going to be installed there, then it's going to look for a key. This key, unique key, will be given in the fourth step. Download the vault registration key to register the host in a Hyper-V site. So we need to download the software first, the installer, and then we need to download the key later when the software is installed and asking for a key. We're going to download and copy this key inside Hyper-V and give it to the installer. So let's go for the step 3 now and click down and load. I did click the download, right? I think there is no pop-up blocker. I'll click download again. kidding me? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, there's a pop-up blocker here. So it's pause on this site. Okay, now it should be okay. Download. And download. Seriously? Guys, are you able to download? It's already paused on this. Oh, you're able to download. Okay, so download again and again. Okay, I'll have to close it and click the add Hyper-V server again. Oh, right click and save as? Okay. You're right, thank you. Right click and send link to your devices, or send link as, save link as also. It's a link or save link as. Oh yeah, it's exe file. Yes, it's not downloading a link, it's actually downloading that exe file. Thank you. And this is Azure site recovery provider that we need to copy from here to our Hyper-V machine and run it there. So I'm just gonna save here. Already exists. So yeah, that was like way back. Thank you, Jit. And yeah, it says can't be downloaded securely, and I'll click keep here. Keep. So it's after keep. So my McAfee is really trying to check. You're not supposed to do that. Okay. So Azure Site Recovery Provider.exe. I'm just gonna right click here and copy and put it inside. Oh, okay. Cool. So now I'm gonna paste it inside that downloads of that virtual machine. There you go. So it's downloaded here. Yay! So once it is down and loaded here, then we need to double click and run it. So once it's copied here inside the virtual machine, it has to be run inside the domain controller. Yeah.
In Hyper-V, inside the Windows server in Hyper-V, or
inside
I didn't see that, sir.
Inside the Hyper-V.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. And so, well, yeah. So I'm just gonna minimize this VMware workstation and close this just to show that yes, it has to be inside Hyper-V. Yeah. So it's inside my Hyper-V now, and yay, it's running on top of the operating system actually. And there you go. It gives me an error. Oh, okay. Setup cannot proceed as no compatible product was found. Oh, seriously. It's a domain controller. That's why it's not gonna run. Okay. So guys, we need to uninstall the Active Directory from here. Yes, demote. We need to demote. If your machine is a domain controller, it's not gonna run on that. Sorry, I forgot that. Seriously. You know what? When I in future open this document, the installer will not work on a domain controller. So let's demote it quickly and make it a standalone machine. Okay, so how to make it a standalone machine? That's easy. Hopefully it lets us make it a standalone machine, otherwise we will have to we took a snapshot here. Well, I did, but let's just go for manage and then remove roles and features. So we need to remove the domain controller, Active Directory, right? And restart, and then it's going to be a standalone machine. Then we can go ahead. So I'm going to click the remove roles and features here, this one in manage, and next. So there's that virtual machine name here. Next. Oh yeah, DC promo force remove. Yeah, I missed DC promo. But DC promo did cause a lot of disaster as well. Some new guys who didn't know that this is the same command to uninstall, same command to install, they were actually uninstalling while they thought they were installing. So that happened a lot. Then they removed the DC promo. So guys, I'm just gonna uncheck that Active Directory domain services. I'm gonna uncheck that, and I'm gonna click remove features. And yeah, so it gives an error, but that's okay. Just go ahead and click demote this domain controller. Go ahead and click this, demote this domain controller. controller. It's okay. Once you click the domain controller, now there's a force switch here. We don't need to, hopefully we don't need to use force because force is there if you are unable to install domain controller normally. So obviously we will first try to uninstall it normally. So let's click yes, this is the last domain controller in this domain. So I'm gonna select that. And so do not click the force button. Do not click the force button, guys. Okay, let's click next. And yeah, proceed with removal. Without that, we cannot proceed. So go ahead and click the proceed with removal and click next. Some of you might see one line here. Some will see 3 lines. I see 2 lines. It's just directory partitions of DNS being removed from Active Directory, which is okay. Just select all and click next. Then just put the class password or whatever password you know. And so we need to log in from this password now when it restarts. So I'll go down to next and demote. Oh, please don't give me error. Bye bye DC. Yeah, oh yeah, we can just say goodbyes now. It's a good time. Yeah. Okay.
So, Mr. Amir, you said Azure Site Recovery, it should be on Windows Server inside Hyper-V, not inside the VMware.
Inside Hyper-V, yeah, because we have Hyper-V.
Okay, good.
Well, it's restarting now, and then it's going to be a standalone server, and then we can continue with what we were doing. There are some students asking me to start 4-in-1 with Office 365 Exchange Online and Teams Online plus Azure AWS on weekdays in the morning time, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Okay, so that's really brutal, but okay, I'm just logging in now. I think one of the student has been, yeah.
Amir, some of the people will be working that time, right?
Paper? Sorry?
I mean working, like if you start course in the morning.
Yeah, those are some of the students that, you know, that guy who told me, please start, and he will gather some more people. So he was told just recently, 2 days ago, by the company that his contract will not be renewed. So he's in a hurry, and he's my old Humber student. So he said, I said, okay, if, you know, you have 5 people, I'll start. It's a crash course. We're going to go fast on this, obviously, with doing all the labs. But he said that please show me all these critical labs, and then I will search for a job after that. So yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. If we say please do it at the evening, so that works?
In the morning I have time, that's why I said that. Otherwise, if he had said please do in the evening, and I don't have evenings, then yeah, I could not do anything. But yeah, magic word works magically. So so we're going to cover Azure security in this Azure security. Whatever the exam says, Vikas, the exam course content, yes, that much. But guys, here is hopefully it's supposed to be a you know, standalone server now. Don't worry that ADDS is still showing. In fact, yeah, we should worry about that, and we can remove this one as well, ADDS, right? So first of all, this blue bar is there. I'm just gonna press yes to this blue bar after restart. Second thing is maybe that installer detects that too. First of all, I'm just going to run that installer. If it detects that ADDS as well, which is just the binary files, basic files of Active Directory with which Active Directory gets installed, if it detects that and say, no, I'm not going to remove that, then we're going to remove that. So I'm going to go to that file and just run it to see if it has, oh, okay, now we're in the local administrator. That's why it's not going to show. I'm going to go to this PC, C drive. I copied it in the downloads folder, right? So downloads folder was that domain administrator download folder, not this local administrator download folder. So I'm just going back to this PC, C drive, users, and there's a administrator of this domain, and I'm going to go to the downloads folder of this guy. That's where it is. Oh, it's not there. Okay, users, and sorry. Now I'm just going to check every other download folder. Ah, it's there. So I'll just copy it away from here somewhere else. Cut. I don't need Azure ADC, but anyway. C drive somewhere in the root, maybe in scripts folder. We create a scripts folder, right? So I'm just going to run this Azure Site Recovery now just to check that, hey, does it detect that ADDS again? Oh, it is okay. We don't need to uninstall ADDS. So it says that it's going to run fine. So we're good. Now it says, hopefully those who are following were able to start the Azure Site Recovery setup like Aziz. And then it says you want to just connect with Microsoft Update, so which is okay. Just click on the on button and click next. And then it says it needs to install at this path, which is okay. So go ahead and click install. Oh, okay. You're saying I would like that. The time is not really good for. Yeah, this time is really unique, and that student really was after me. So if he is able to gather enough people, he's really smart, active, really active.
Any idea the course duration, how long it will be?
That would be, no, it's 3 days a week, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. So it's gonna go fast. So he's saying please finish all 4 courses in 1 month, which is ridiculous. But I think 1.5 months or 2 months, I guess. So, okay, guys, my installation is actually done. So it says register. Do not click finish. There's a register button here as well. And when we click the register, it's going to ask for, okay, after we set up the site recovery, can we create domain again, or should we work group? Yeah, so this, we can create another domain controller and join this Hyper-V to that domain controller. That would be the best thing to do. But we don't have to have this as a domain controller. Later, can we install or not? Actually, I also did not check, but once it says this, then I would not really make it a domain controller afterwards as well. So I'm just going to click that register here. Once you click the register, so it says, hey, where's the key? Remember that there's a 4th step there that offers a download button. So let's download that key and copy paste inside this machine. So I'm going to go back to Azure site and go for the step number 4 and download the key and provide it to this by clicking browse. First I'm going to copy paste here and then click browse. Right? So let us go back to our download the vault registration key to register. Yeah, this one, 4th one. I'm going to click the download button now. And I think downloads today are not really working for me. Does it work with that same right click and thing? Oh shoot. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, downloads actually working for me. So I'm gonna click the save in the downloads of the laptop. Then from there, I'm gonna copy it into the virtual machine. So that's a long file. And copy. Then I'll go for the downloads or the scripts folder here and paste it here. So this is the path where the credentials file is. I'm just gonna go back to the register page and click the browse button, right? And give that file which I just downloaded and copied here. C drive, scripts, and yeah, there you go. This is the file that we just downloaded. And you can see it populated the vault name, which is correct, Hyper-V site name, which is correct, subscription, and the key file. So, so this is the correct file here with the correct names. And I'm gonna click next. And now it's going to just communicate with the Azure, and it's supposed to register this up there. And we should see the name of this server up there in Azure Site Recovery Vault as well. So I'm going to click next now. Connect directly to Azure Site Recovery without a proxy server. Yes, we don't have a proxy server here. It's a DSL router, direct connection. So yeah, we're not going to change anything here. And click next. So checking connectivity, fetching creating certificate, Azure Site Recovery for registration, configuring Azure Site Recovery for registration. So it's going through the process now. Now you can try this with an operating system inside as well, and we're trying this with an empty virtual machine, so it's going to create a copy of this sooner. If you have a full operating system, then it's going to depend on your bandwidth. Can it take that heavy operating system and create an exact copy, passive copy of that up in the cloud, Azure. Suppose your connection is slow and your machine is like Windows 2016 virtual machine inside the Hyper-V, then well, it's a 10 GB copy it needs to create up there in Azure. So hopefully your bandwidth, your home bandwidth, should support that. So initializing registration. So I'll just go for well, it's done for me, yay! I hope everyone's done, I guess. So I'm gonna click finito. So once
just could you please, Amir, just what else, please, just for let's finish, please. Yeah, thank you.
I'm just waiting for the must be. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay.
For me, done. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So it's done. You have express route. Oh man. Oh, so Chintan, it's okay. Milap says done, but Chintan, is it done for you? So not yet. So yeah, this means that Scarborough is just taking the lead now. But yeah, sometimes it's you know, other regions as well. Well, basically, it's all about now. It's if you check back up there in your Azure, that same page, why, either you can refresh that page and it will show you, you know, all this, or it will, yes, refresh. You have to refresh the page, but refresh just takes you a little back, right? And Chintan, you get an error. Yikes. Then redo it, but depends on what is the error. And is it a Windows Server 2016 trial one, or I hope it's not that one. Okay, the error is, oh, it's a very small error. So add area exception caught while acquiring a token. Message client assertion contains an invalid signature. The key was not found. Thumbprint key of key used by client. Please visit the Azure or app, review the documentation, blah, 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 determine the corresponding service endpoint. I think it's not able to reach your, I think maybe your internet is very slow, and it was not even able to reach the internet. Once it happened to me as well, that, you know, it's internet just even if you open some site, CNN or something, if it opens really slow, then this means that, okay, so yeah, some other site. But anyway, if it's opening fine, then it's just saying it cannot find the point up there. So try to run it again or restart it and then run it. Otherwise, uninstall it and then run it. So that would be a control panel, and then go to that and try to run.
So Amir, basically on those places or those countries which the internet speed is slow, so that's not a good option to think about the Azure or AWS at all.
Well, those countries can then think about, first of all, that if they stay on the cloud and they're not going hybrid, they can forget about hybrid, but yes, they can still create directly by connecting the virtual machines and databases there. When they want to transfer some data, yes, then there will be a problem. Okay, so here, oh, where's mine? I think I pressed OK to that. So I'll go to Azure and check it out. And in the Azure, now you can see that we're on this page, and if there's a local refresh here, I don't see any local refresh here anywhere, so I'm just gonna click that browser-based refresh, right? So once I click that browser-based refresh, or you know what, I can just close this one as well. And yeah, I just have to refresh. Anyway, I'm just going to go to browser refresh, and it says changes you made may not be saved. Don't worry about that, and click reload. It's gonna go take you back for a few steps, and it's, yeah, kind of from the start, but it's gonna remember all the configurations. I refreshed it. I'm on the start now. I'm gonna go back to Hyper-V virtual machines 1 and prepare infrastructure there again as we started. So prepare infrastructure, and then I'll just go for, yes, I have done it. Deployment planning completed. Yes, I have done it. This is the same option we selected before as well, right? Next. And no, we're not using SCVMM as we selected before as well. We're going to select that again. But now we see our domain controller name. Yay. Oh, actually, member server name. Yay. Woo, yay. Okay. So, yeah, it's detected. Our Toronto site is detected, and our local on-premises machine name is detected now. So, is that really the name here? So, if I go to local server here, and it's on workgroup, but yes, your first name VM01. If I click that, it just takes that full name here. Your first name VM01.amirdomain.local. So yes, your first name 01 amirdomain. So it detected that on-premises machine. We're communicating now. That is good. And click next. Ready? So here, post failover deployment model, resource manager or classic. Now, obviously we're never going for classic. That's the first thing. Second thing, storage account. Do you have a storage account? Yes, we created one and it detected that as well, so that's good. Do you have a network? Yes, we created one and it detected that as well. So if you hadn't created these two, it would have given you that option now, and you could have created now as well, but better create before. And click next. So it's still just next. But on this fourth page, replication policy, there's a select here and it says no, you need to create a policy. Policy of what? Replication, how fast you want to replicate, right? Well, it depends on your bandwidth actually. So I'm going to click that, create new policy and SOC8. Let's click that. So it says, oh, create a policy and tell me how much fast replication you need. So your first name dash replication REPL policy. Okay, REPL policy. REPL dash policy. And it detects the source type, it detects the target type, it's from Hyper-V to Azure, but it says, hey, you want to copy every 5 minutes or 30 seconds? Suppose you have express route, you've really spent a lot of money, and suppose you have 2 virtual machines there, and the initial copying will take a lot of bandwidth, yes. After the partner machine is created in Azure, then the replication itself is a small data always, right? It's not the whole big virtual machine again, right? It's just a small data that is going up there. So every 5 minutes you want to do that, or even every 30 seconds if you have good bandwidth, and it's not gonna really block any other communication that you're doing, or you have some dedicated internet. Better to have express route if you're gonna go for 30 seconds there. So 5 minutes is okay. You know what? How about 30 seconds? That's going to be aggressive, right? For us. If you intend to replicate to premium storage, specify a copy frequency greater than 30 seconds. Click to learn more. Well, the thing is, why I'm doing, we can change that too, right? You may bring down your network. I have a virtual machine that is empty. If I go back here and open my tools and Hyper-V manager, so it opens, and when I go there, there's one virtual machine here that we created in last class, right? And it's an empty machine. There's no operating system inside. So it will be a copy created of this machine up there in Azure. So if I had an operating system inside, yes, I should be worrying about in my current connection. If I was in a data center, obviously it would be a virtual machine with the application and operating system and everything. So right now it's an empty machine, so it's kind of a stunt. Maybe I'll change that afterwards to 5 minutes, but I'm just going for 30 seconds now because there's nothing there. Recovery point retention in 2 hours. You don't have to do that actually if you don't want to. App consistent snapshot frequency. So recovery point retention in hours. Every 2 hours create a retention point, which means just take a, just like we take a snapshot and then, and it's a feature in Windows as well. I think it's called checkpoint or something. But in Windows also you can just save or freeze the configuration, a copy of a configuration. And then there is app consistent snapshot frequency in hours. So checkpoint, recovery point is every 2 hours, and then a snapshot of the whole virtual machine which has application consistency as well is every 1 hour. So you got 2 types of safety measures there. And then initial replication start time is immediately. Do you want to just now start, or maybe at night you want to start? So it's up to you. I'm sticking to immediately. And press yeah.
You know what, Amir?
Yeah.
I just what we did. I did it in the inside Windows Server inside Hyper-V, not because I saw now your Hyper-V server is switched off. That is why I ask you before you start, we will do this inside the Hyper-V or inside VMware. You know, yeah, I opened this server inside Hyper-V and I run what we did. So what will happen in this case?
No, like I'm running this, right? So policy. Are you running this inside Hyper-V? Create an associate policy?
No, I mean
now I understand what you're saying. Okay, so
the replication and everything I did inside the server inside Hyper-V.
So you're expecting this whole virtual machine, the VMware Workstation Windows 2012 virtual machine, to be up there as a copy going? So I don't understand what exactly you did, because you're exactly following me, right? So I'm not sure where did you...
No, yeah, I follow you well, but I opened the virtual machine inside the Hyper-V. This one, yeah.
Okay, so it's okay.
And it's okay, and I did everything we did here in the server inside the Hyper-V. Is it okay?
Oh, it's nested, third level of nesting. So
yeah.
Okay, that's a new one for me. So well, do you have a virtual machine inside this virtual machine?
No. No, I believe that everything we did now, we did in the VMware, not inside the Hyper-V.
Yes.
Or, right?
Yes.
But I did inside the Hyper-V here in this server.
Yeah, you're saying that you went inside this virtual machine, and there's a Windows 2012 here as well, and you're doing everything inside that.
Exactly.
Okay, no, it's not that, and I didn't realize that what you were asking was exactly this. It was never asked to me for like that before. I thought, well, if you're following me, yes, you must have meant that. So I'm not sure. So you have a Windows 2012 or 2016 inside?
16.
And you did everything inside Windows 2016, which is you copied the installer and
exactly.
Oh, so what you can do is just copy that installer here and install it and register this one up there, and the rest of the steps are same. So not a very big difference, but this is very new for me that this virtual machine is a target to be created up there. So I'm not going to do anything inside this machine.
Okay. Okay. If I can catch you, okay. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead. I'll follow you and I'll see. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. So yeah, it's down on the Hyper-V host. So yeah, and we'll also install the tool inside the Hyper-V. Yeah. Okay. So okay, guys. Let's carry on what we were doing here. It's yeah. So that's pretty straightforward configuration here, and I'm gonna press OK after doing that, and it's gonna create a policy and associate as well. So it's creating a replication policy. And associating. Associating Toronto on premises. That's taking time. Now my express route is all of a sudden gone. Okay, it's done. Okay, so Chetan says I have retry and download key again and it worked. Okay, that's very good. Cool. So download key again and it works. So that's very good. Thank you for reading that. Okay, so let's click next. Let's click next. So that's it. Review. So deployment planning, source settings, target settings, replication policy, and review. Right. So they made that interface really good. And I'm gonna click prepare. So once, I click the prepare, but that's it. There's nothing going on, and so there's no processing going on. This means that we're pretty much done. I hope I did click the prepare button there. So what we can do is we can just check in the replicated items as well. Hey, I did click prepare now. Right. Site recovery, I'm just going to go back here and check what happened to my network. Guys, did you click prepare and it's processing? I'm just doing that again. Oh, same as me. So this means that it's not processing, it's just click prepare, that's it. Oh, okay. So that's good. Now we just need to then check that where's the virtual machine, and oh wow, that document, I'm on top of that. So I'll just go way down here and oh, that's the other thing. So all we need to do is just check that replication here. I'm just going to go to overview and check in the vault as well. We just have to look around now and check it out that the virtual machine, the copy virtual machine, is in the process of being created or not, right? So replicated items should be showing actually VM01, but before that we need to still go to the jobs area, and then yeah, Bob says, don't you have to go to step 2 to enable replication? So first of all, if we click the prepare, it's supposed to actually start preparing that site recovery when we're going for that. So in site recovery, enable replication, enable protection. So I'm just going to go back here and check it out. So there is site recovery, there is replicated items. And in replicated items, there is that replicate button as well. And but before that, I'm just going to go up there and overview and check that if there was any site. And you know what? They have changed the interface, so I always in new courses I always get this every time. So there are backup jobs and site recovery jobs. So I'm going to go down to the monitoring here. See this monitoring, and there's the site recovery jobs here. So you can see that in the site recovery, there's an associate replication policy, there's a create replication policy, register the Azure site recovery, and that is the first one actually. As you can see the time 6:59, then 7:36. So it's all done here in terms of the recovery, site recovery configurations. Yes, we need to enable the replication now. So we can go to plus replicate and then do that, but I'll just go for my so site recovery jobs. Hopefully you're seeing that and you get everything. Normally it says that hey, you should be seeing a VM, but we can just click the replicate and try to simply go ahead and replicate that. Guys, are you seeing VM01 here in this? Sorry. If I go for that, so when you go for replicated items, you don't see anything there, right? No. Okay, so yes, we need to start the replication. Actually, that policy was really mentioning that replication there as well. I'm going to go to manage, and there is a site recovery infrastructure showing there, and because they've changed that replication policy, yes, I don't see anything here in the replication as well. So this means that we can go for Azure Virtual Machines replication policy. We have to create a replication policy here exactly. So let me just show you then how to, yeah, replication policies. Let me just go back here first of all where I was, and there is a backup policies and there's a site recovery. So guys, let's just go to site recovery backup items. Replicated items does not show anything unless we go for replication policies there. So let's just go down to the site recovery infrastructure. Where is it? It's under the manage. So I'm going to go to under the manage site recovery infrastructure. And inside the site recovery infrastructure, there's a 4 Azure Virtual Machines replication policies, for VMware replication policy, for System Center, and for Hyper-V sites. And there's a replication policy here written for Hyper-V sites. That's
so can you go to replication policy on System Center VMware?
No, below that. Below that is Hyper-V sites. Right? So even if you go below that and first click the Hyper-V sites, we see our site. Then Hyper-V host, we see our Hyper-V host. Now replication policies. In fact, we see our replication policy. So our policy shows there exactly. So what I'm expecting is that
it is also showing on VMM also.
VMM. So yeah, and if I go to, hopefully it's not showing in VMware. Obviously not, and hopefully it's not showing in Azure. So yeah, VMM, they are considering because it's the same technology. So yes, that's what I'm seeing there, that we did create a policy there. So if I go, let's go inside the your first name REPL policy, right? Your first name REPL policy. I'm just going inside. So 30 seconds, 1 2 hours, and edit settings, associate VMM cloud. No, we don't have a VMM. Associate Hyper-V site. We already have that. Ali, were you following from the start? So guys, what we are expecting, what I'm expecting is this. If you go back to the vault, you should be going to the items there, and replicated items should show a machine there. If you keep refreshing, it should show. Otherwise, I'll go for VMware and physical machines to Azure, Hyper-V machines to Azure. I'm gonna click that. Oh yeah, it has everything there. Enable replication. If I click the enable replication, guys, see this? I'm going for this. Where? In the vault, I'm going down here in replicated items. I don't see my virtual machine. I'm expecting this virtual machine here, the VM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to replicate here. In the replicated items, I'm going to go to replicate this one, right? And I'm going to go to Hyper-V virtual machines, because we don't have any other type. We just have Hyper-V virtual machines to Azure. So if I click that, then it says, hey, what is the source location? This is source location. Now, before I move ahead, I need to actually do one thing. My on-premises virtual machine is not powered on. It is powered off, right? Oh, it is powered on, sorry. Thank God. So I'm just gonna close that. I just want to make sure it is powered on. So if it is not, so right click here and click the start button. There's a start button. You will see if it is not started. For me, it is started, so it's not showing me the start button. So it's just the state. Make sure that state is running, and then go ahead with what I'm doing now. Make sure it is running, right? So if it is started, that's it. And then come back here. We're just enabling the replication now. So source replication, source location is this, which is good. I'm going to click next, right? And it gets all the information. Target environment is this. Target is our own Azure virtual network. It just says, hey, what is your virtual network in the target environment? We have created in Azure our virtual network, which is your first name Vnet, and it detects the subnet as well. So everything is filled up already. We're just manually enabling a replication here. Next. And it says there, is this our machine name? Hyper-V-VM. I'm going to go down and check there in Hyper-V. Is this the name of my virtual machine inside? So if I go there, yes, this is the exact name of my virtual machine that it detected. So it detected in Azure correctly that this is my virtual machine name. So yes, I've selected that. Select the machines, or selected machines is there, right? Once I've clicked the selected machine, then I'm going to click next, and it says here, what do you want to do? Hyper-V VM. What do you want to do with the Hyper-V VM, right? So there's a OS type, there's a OS disk, there's a disks to replicate. So if I go for, is it a Linux machine or Windows machine? Actually, it's none, but I'm just gonna go for Windows. Is it on Hyper-V? Yes, the Hyper-V VM, right? What's the default for? So defaults are just the default selections. So if you select that here, suppose you have hundreds of virtual machines here, you can just select the defaults and it will select all on behalf of all of those, right? Or you can go for, hey, I just want to replicate only this machine, or I want to replicate all my machines are actually Linux, or all my machines are actually Windows. So we can. Okay, guys. So here, Windows, Hyper-V, and yes, there is one disk, right? And I'm gonna click next. Replication policy, 30 seconds. Recovery point, retention 2 hours, app consistent snapshot. So first we create a policy and associated it to our Vnet. Then we're enabling the replication, right? So let's click next. And there you go. Enable replication, right? So let's click enable repli. Oh, that's too long. Okay. Enable replication. So that is in replicated items, just enable replication. So create search query and then create a replication policy, enable replication. So that's the step. Then we can say test failover, because now we're expecting our machine to be it's still going on. Okay, enabling protection. So I'll put that in the document when I upload that. Okay, what happened? Oh, enable protection is there. So the process of enabling replication is actually done for me. So I'm just gonna refresh here, and there's my virtual machine, yay! And you can see healthy in the replicated items, and you can see that it's, in my case, it is 0% synchronized. So that percentage should reach 100. It should reach 100, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's telling me virtual machine name cannot contain reserved words.
Reserved words.
Words. Yeah.
Where?
When I select Windows and Azure, the name of Hyper-V.
Oh, what's the name of your virtual machine? Like, does
The
it
name
have
is
some
Azure.
words like slash or, you know, any word that it cannot accept as a name?
No, just Azure. But here in the website of the Azure, in the next box telling me Azure _ B2882. I don't know from where he bring this number.
Maybe there was a space there, Azure and space, and it might see that, hey, this is restricted. You can just rename that machine name in Hyper-V and then refresh to let it detect if there was by mistake any space left in the name. So it might. Oh, and also Safe says maybe they don't accept Azure as a name. Yeah, Azure is their product, flagship product.
Maybe. Just can I change the name of virtual machine while it's running?
So you have to turn it off, and there's a rename option here.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Guys, anyone else has an operating system? Mohammadabad has an operating system in the machine. Anyone else has an operating system, or you all have an empty machine like mine? So with or without an operating system, the procedure is same, but it just takes long time with the operating system. Okay, so Milab says, at this stage, if I were to create a new VM in on-prem, would it show up here for me to begin replication? So you just have to start replicating again. So suppose you create a virtual machine now, you can just go through this process again because the whole environment is already registered. Suppose you create 10 new virtual machines, just enable replication for them, either all together or one by one, or whichever you want replicated. So yes, all other steps you don't need to do. Just come here in the replicate area to introduce newer machines as well. Cool. Now this machine is healthy, but if I refresh, was there any synchronization? 0%? Did it move away from 0%? That's one thing, right? So does our local Hyper-V show or give any proof that the local Hyper-V is now connected to Azure or not? So let's go down here in the local Hyper-V and check. How do we check? See this? Just select the virtual machine. Once you select the virtual machine inside the Hyper-V, then you go down to this replication tab, right? This replication tab, but you have to select the virtual machine, then click the replication tab. So it does say that replica server is actually Microsoft Azure now. So yes, it detects, the local Hyper-V detects that it is now connected, and its replica server is Microsoft Azure, and primary server is, well, this is the name of my server here, the Hyper-V server. This is the name. So that's also very good that it actually detects that it is now. How could we access replicated VM? How could we access replicated VM? So the active one, you can just right click and connect here. If there was an operating system, you will see that. But the replicated VM, you can go, normally it's a active, it's a passive copy. So I've gone inside that. Go ahead and click that VM there, and it says replication health is critical. Normally we're supposed to access the replicated VM when we fail over to it, right? When we do a failover to it, then we can access in Azure. So yeah, I have error messages. It just says that replication is somehow not working. In fact, I'll just try to stop the firewall. I'll check that if the firewall is on the server. Yeah, it's off. Real-time protection, Windows Defender. It should not stop. But yeah, I'll refresh that. But the thing is, how to access this machine? Normally, the passive partner in Hyper-V, they don't really let us go inside unless you fail over and make it inactive. You can't go inside a passive one. So that's one thing. You can't go inside the passive one, right? Open a new page. The virtual machine couldn't be replicated. Oh, error messages. The virtual machine could not be replicated. Replication for virtual machine Hyper-V is in error. Fix the errors and resume replication. Replication errors occurred for virtual machine Hyper-V in cloud site, blah blah blah, because of issues with connectivity to Azure storage. So possible cause. If identity is enabled on the recovery switches vault, please make sure the log target Azure storage account has the necessary permissions to access the storage account. Go to your storage account. Guys, do you all get this or? Oh, safe is, Chintan is also okay. Hey, that's not fair. I mean, no. So, you guys should also have the same error as mine. No, that's not fair. Okay. All right, man. Healthy and okay, 0% synchronized, but it's healthy. So guys, remember that well, the thing is that you can fail over only, or you can use these controls. Thank you, Chintan, for sharing your screen. You can use these controls: planned failover, test failover only when your machine is 100% synchronized. So anyone's machine 100% synchronized or not? Most probably not. Obviously, because it just started, right? So it's not going to. So initial replication for virtual machine needs to be started. Yeah. Oh, yours, Milap, yours a full server? Okay, that might take, I'm not sure how much time. Depends on your bandwidth, depends on the size. But my storage account has an issue and I need to fix that. When we log storage block data contributor for standard or storage block data for premium storage. Oh, okay, I need to give at least contributor rights to, am I not the administrator? I am. Add the below role assignments for ARM storage account to the recovery services vault. Oh, okay. Really? Okay. That's very strange. It never happened before. Okay, so Ali says not yet, Milap says not yet. But so guys, you will be able to see that an Azure role assignment. Okay, sources registered with that directory. You can control its access to services. Azure role assignment. I'm just gonna give myself. I should be having this access. I don't know why. It's storage. Okay. Owner. Okay, give me access to storage account as an owner. And hopefully this error should be resolved. Well, fingers crossed always. There could be something else. I'll go back now. Okay, so Milap says, so to make the replicated VM as now your main VM, what would be the next step? So Milap, that's what I was saying. Your machine has to be synchronized 100%. After that, the failover button up there, which is grayed out, will be clickable. The failover button up there, which is grayed out, will be clickable. So these planned failover, test failover, whenever they are clickable, so they will be clickable when it is 100% here. Complete migration, does that do something else? I also see complete migration. Does that do something? Well, that is large scale migration. When you go for, you have a SCVMM and you have hundreds of virtual machines and you have a Hyper-V environment, or you have vCenter and you have ESXi hypervisors, and then you have hundreds of virtual machines there. So you just have to download we downloaded just a file to discover. It downloads a full appliance to discover the whole environment and then let you migrate one by one all the machines. So it's for large scale and more complicated scenarios. This is one hypervisor, one ESXi hypervisor or one Hyper-V hypervisor detected, and any virtual machine on top of that gets connected. So I think you guys are okay with the same steps, and I'm not okay with the same steps. So my storage account has fixed any issues, possible cause replication was paused either manually or due to problems with virtual machine Hyper-V in cloud side. Okay, so yeah, I will have to fix that. So it says I have this in the logs, either the component that raises this event is not installed on your local computer or the installation is corrupted. Yeah, I may have to redo this. So we can also do reverse replication. Yes, we can do reverse replication, and the replication can go backwards as well. So exactly, all those options are actually showing there for the virtual machine when you go to the vault. And you know what, I'll just create one more virtual machine quickly and see if that virtual machine gets replicated. Guys, your virtual machine is powered on or powered off? I'll just quickly create one more. On, oh okay, yeah, it's good, it's supposed to be on. So second-VM, and I'll just go for another one quickly. Generation 1, Gen 2, I think we all had Gen 2 and yours is working actually, so 1024 RAM is okay. Not connected, oh I need to connect to this virtual switch. Oh yeah, I had 2 network cards. Oh, maybe it's my virtual switch. I'm just gonna right click here, go to virtual switch manager. I have connection to one of the network adapters, and I'll connect to my other network adapter as well. Oh, seriously, I have 3. Okay, that could be the problem. Oh, it's already connected to 3, so I'll connect to the second external virtual switch. Yes. I have some misconfiguration on my network adapters for Hyper-V. Mine Hyper-V managed, say, sending initial replica 4%. Okay, so when it reaches 100% Milap, then you will see the failover there, up there. Now hopefully this change works. Or let me just go for another machine quickly. I have some issues in my Hyper-V settings actually as well, so that could be the problem. I'll quickly create another one. Second VM. So guys, while this is something that we have to wait whenever it goes 100% synchronization, then only it will let you go ahead. I'll connect this switch machine to the other switch, and the rest is just click, 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 finish. So the second machine is created. I'll just start it. It's empty. For you, it's working. Then I'll go for replicate and go for Hyper-V machines to Azure, and try to check in this setup if it detects my second machine as well. Storage account is GRS, which is okay. Yeah, it did not detect my second virtual machine, so I'll refresh that or send or do that registration again, so it will detect my second virtual machine as well. Okay, so Milan says this definitely requires some express route. It is too slow uploading to Azure. Yes, that's why I was going for empty virtual machine. Otherwise, with we need to have better bandwidth. So at home, yes, it's better to go for either you install, that server core, that's small. Don't install GUI, right? To have its exact replica created up there in Azure. Default policies there. Okay, so guys, these are the steps for me. What worked for you did not actually work for me, and I think I have to run that registration again.
Amir, in the Hyper-V also, when you right click the virtual, you can make the replication manually by replicate now from the server to Azure.
Manually?
So yeah, I did now right click the VM in the Hyper-V and then replication and then replicate now.
Oh, thank you for that. That was I'm just re-registering it, and it might detect my second machine, but otherwise, yeah, that's a very good thing you told Mohammed. So here, guys, we can go for the virtual machine here and right click and go for replication. There's a replication here, and I can click that resume replication as well. There's a cancel replication, there's a new replication health as well. So thank you for that. And I'm going to click resume and initial replication in progress. and replication error. Yay! Well, I have some issue here. While my server, I just re-registered it. I ran the registration, so I am going some other way right now. So this definitely, okay, Chinta says VMware you can see checkpoints and you can see one point created. VMware you can see checkpoints. Yeah, there's a checkpoint here created for the first replica. So that was the first checkpoint as our replication policy. Replica policy will create that every 1 hour. So first checkpoint is this.
So when you click on now, right click and run, you can run the VM.
Yeah, this one here.
No, checkpoint.
Oh, okay. On the checkpoint you're saying?
No, now, click on now.
Okay.
Yeah, click connect.
Oh yeah, so you can connect to that saved state. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay.
Cool. So, thank you. And yeah, I'm just kind of doing this in a hurry. Otherwise, I would not have initialized the registration again. But to get that VM connected, in fact, that VM I could have, if I go for right-click this VM and it started, but the replication, I have to enable replication for that VM, right? So replication option is not available for the second VM because it's a new one. If I click enable, so then it's gonna ask all kinds of questions. Hey, what is your replica server? And when I go there, then I have to tell it that, hey, it's my Azure, it's not this. So instead of going through this way, I'm trying to re-register and it should, okay, it's registered again, finish. So I try to re-register now, and just expecting it to have that virtual machine. Otherwise, I will have to restart and sign out, sign in. So yeah, that's a kind of a troubleshooting that needs to be done. I'll go for, oh yes, re-register, guys. It now detects my second machine as well. So congrats to me. Okay. Anyway, it was not detecting before. After re-registering, it's not detecting the second machine as well. Next, and I'll go for, yes, this is none. It's not Linux. It's not Windows. Series. Okay. Next. So I'm just initiating this on the second machine. Enable replication. And if I have some problem with my Hyper-V, then the second one also will have some kind of error. Otherwise, okay. So the second one replication is enabling now. Anyone did the 30-second, or did you all did 5 minutes replication interval? Anyone did 30 seconds as I did? Okay, Mobile says 5. Ashraf says 5.
Yeah, 5. But what should we see in the, maybe it's work with me, but I don't know how it's work or not. What we should expect it to see in the Azure.
Yeah, so we can,
if succeed.
Yeah, so we should go for if the failover happens. So if I go to Hyper-V, and if these options are enabled, planned failover, test failover, then we are ready. The machine is done, and the synchronization here should be 100%.
Okay.
Is yours on 0% or 4% or 10%? That would tell. So with big configurations, obviously there's always some point where we have to really give it a lot of weight. Waiting goes on. Oh, my enabling protection. So the second virtual machine for me has enabled replication and it is healthy. Yay! Oh, okay. So yes, my second machine is healthy, and so something wrong with the first machine. Actually, that first machine was connected to a virtual switch or a physical network card, or the network card of the Hyper-V that has some issues. Second machine I connected to the second network card. So it's the network card now, I know. Anyway, so it's healthy, and if I go inside this machine, so it is also on 0% synchronized. Yay! Or yay. Now I'm just waiting for this to be done. So these options should be enabled, so I could click them. And obviously when you click don't go for test failover, although you can, but if you go for just failover, it's just and then it's not pretty straightforward. Like it doesn't do right away failing over because it's in the cloud and it takes time. But down there, after a matter of time, it changes. Suppose you fail over, so the primary server should change to Microsoft Azure, and replica server should change to your Hyper-V name if you fail over, right? So I'm on second VM, which is healthy actually, up there in Azure, and I'm seeing the replication tab here, pending initial replication and replication mode primary, right? Primary server. So if failover happens, so failover normally says successful, but it does not change here. Primary server still shows Hyper-V for longer time. Maybe you do restart, maybe you shut down for a while and then start, and then it detects after some time that, oh, okay, now primary is Azure and replica is actually the Hyper-V. So Milab says, for uploading this replica, would we get charged for bandwidth? Yes. Did I say yes? Yes. Well, in the free account, no. But if you're on pay-as-you-go, so you pay as you go, right? So yeah, you can stop if you're on pay-as-you-go. But yeah, normally when I was doing that first time on pay-as-you-go, I just went reckless. I wanted to see it work. So, and I didn't get any bill, or I think few cents. But actually I used the empty machine because I know, I don't have bandwidth. Upload. Okay, so 0% here, and one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna reach 100%. There's no refresh here even. Seriously? Oh, there is maybe. Oh, there's a refresh. Okay. 3 buttons, 3 dots here, and refresh. Nothing. Okay, it's still 0%. Okay, so that is just waiting time, right? And it's 8:15. So whenever you want the next break, yeah, this is a good time. Let's take 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, 10-minute break, guys, or let's meet at 8:30. Maybe somebody will be finished by that time. Normally it did take time in previous classes as well when we were doing that, and it did finish for a few students by the end of the class. So yeah, we can just go after the break. We can go for another topic. So it's yeah, let's take a break. And resuming, we're back. And what happened? Anybody's machine got more than 0% fresh. Wow, it didn't move.
Yeah, I got more, but I deleted because you said it will cost, and then I deleted.
So how much did you reach?
Just 8%.
Oh, okay.
8%. But I switched off the firewall from Hyper-V Windows Server. Yeah, when I switch it start immediately to
Replicate.
synchronize.
Wow. Okay, nice. I got that error for second machine as well. So this means that nobody's machine actually got fully 100% replicated, or maybe you've just learned that. how to do it. So anyone wants to keep that, yeah, the main thing is that you can just click the failover or test failover. First do actually test failover if you are very patient, and then check it's going to, if it's successful, then obviously you can easily failover as well. Oh, okay, so Milab says mine reached 100%. Oh, okay, so that's good news. And you're just waiting for first record. Yeah, it then creates a, oh, not 100%. Oh, you're reached on this waiting for first recovery point. Okay. Okay. No, because is it possible because the local VM is empty? Well, yeah, actually, I was able to test failover and then failover as well on an empty machine. So yes, it's just the virtual machine. It needs on the other side to create a copy of that. So well, there's that strange error still coming for me, which I never saw before. So I'll be stuck with this error. Okay. So guys, what we need to do is we can just go for the next topic. Yay! Woohoo! Hey, nobody said it's a weekend. Bye bye. And I'm reminding that seriously. Okay. Yeah. So Milab's completed 100%. Yay! So Milab can actually show now. Before doing failover, we have to configure VM resource group. Chintan says, VM resource group, is it asking that or are you asking that? So Milab, are you able to share your screen like Chintan did? There you go. Alright, you need to configure virtual machines resource group before doing a failover. Oh, it says that. So Chintan, you also reached that. Okay, so yeah, that was a quick one. Come and go. So
mine is failed, but when I start, I see this message.
Oh, but it said failed? The replication?
Yeah, it is failed like you because I don't have OS. Might be possibility that I don't know what reason. But when I start it, I see this message. So maybe it's required resource group when we do
But
failover.
Milab's completed and we all have the same configurations. So it's just different errors are coming for some. And okay, so there's Milab's machine now that we are looking at, and that's a very big screen. Not. Okay, it's tiny. Oh, well. But Milab is showing the Hyper-V side of successful replication completion. And Milab, were you able to do a failover as well? If you go to the Azure and then try to run the failover from there in Azure, or you may have already done that, and that's what you're showing. Oh, so you clicked failover already as well, and then it started the failing over process. But do you see in the replication area that your active machine now is Azure 1 and passive or replica? Replica is for passive, we call it replica here. And oh yeah, it's actually very tiny, and it's recording on the screen, but it's too. Oh, maybe I could just increase the size. Oh, I can actually, but it's somehow showing really tiny here. I'll just move. Yeah. So here, replication mode is primary and replication state is replication enabled, and Microsoft Azure. So replica is still Microsoft Azure, and current primary server is still your local server. So if you have successfully failed over, so normally it does say successfully failed over in Azure side, but here on Hyper-V side, it does not get updated fast if the replication is done. So the primary server should be showing Azure, and current replica server should be showing actually as our local Hyper-V server, but it's still showing the, I've seen that before so many times that Hyper-V does not get updated right away. But on your Azure side, can you see there that if the failover actually worked or not? So on the Azure side, it does show that now the active is actually your oh, there you go. So that's the full Hyper-V. And yes, as we can see that this is just the primary application mode is not, Hyper-V does not get updated so quick. So, but on the, thank you for sharing that. And but on the, yeah, the browser side, you can see, yeah, so planned failover is there, test failover. So you did failover, and normally it should show there the failover direction is from VMM to Azure. It still refers to our local Hyper-V as VMM. So it's still saying that from local Hyper-V it is replicating to. So it's not saying, so you can go to the properties as well of the vault, and that would also show that if you know, it's the Azure that is active one now. If you, yeah, press OK here, and so in the map or yeah, in if you go back, click the properties on the left side. So here, replication policy and active location. Active location still say HV. So yeah, it did you go for failover? I thought you said you did the failover already. Status, yeah, failover was, oh, that's too small, so I cannot even read that. But MV organization, so or H, oh yeah, now we're good. Failover was initiated, so maybe it's still in the process, it hasn't finished, but thank you for this. Active location is still MV on-prem, and so yeah, active location should be Azure, and then it's going to actually go for, and the target location should show target role size, target storage account. Target is still Azure. So successful test failover, successful failover. Wow, it does say that there was a successful failover as well. So this means it's going to update. Oh, it's just failing over. So when it finishes here, then we can see those. So initiating will not tell us anything unless it is fully done, and then it will show us. So failover doesn't take a long time. Since your screen is the only valid screen here, so you can keep showing like this, right? So if you are okay with that, and there's that the bell icon is still, yeah, processing this. So until this is done, we, at least Azure side normally does show after the failover is finished that you know, the active one is Azure now. And then in the virtual machine side, so also one more thing we can check here, Milap, if you can create another tab here while this is going on, and in the other tab, if you can go to the virtual machine side, you know, the virtual machine section, and yeah, and do we see anything here? So, well, is that the one that oh yeah, that's the one. So that's the virtual machines. Yeah, exactly, that's the name there. Okay, so in the virtual machine area, guys, you will see that virtual machine, but if it is active, then we can go inside from Azure as well. If it is passive, well, you can try now actually. Well, normally Microsoft does not let us go in, but yes, different environments of Microsoft have different implementation, so we can even go inside passive. Normally we don't. So Chetan says, did you create RG in Azure for VM? Yeah, when we were creating Vnet, so we create that. So yeah, right now that virtual machine, if it has the same resource group, then we're good. Before failover.
So Milap, you created or just it's create itself, like automatic?
Milap, did you manually connected the machine to the resource group? Did he have to do that? Normally we don't have to, but maybe Milap can write it or say it that you didn't have to.
No, it's using the same resource group, right? The one I initially created.
So you didn't have to manually do that, right?
No.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, we're getting different kind of errors. I'm getting storage account error. Chintan is getting that, hey, connect to the resource group. So yeah, it's the other. No other tab would have those. Oh, done. Woohoo! Well, active location and passive.
Okay, Amir, if done, can he switch off the Hyper-V?
No.
And being the computer on Hyper-V to see if the failover work or not. Yeah, the Hyper-V is off. It turned it off automatically. You can see here on the screen. Okay, can you ping it, please, to see the still response? If no, it says state off.
Yeah,
I know it's
passive
state
one
off.
is
Yeah.
off now. But he's saying that can you ping from here to up there in the machine in Azure?
No. Being from the host, because it's British, right? I mean from the host. Host machine.
Which is Hyper-V.
Yeah.
So from Hyper-V ping to
from the
where?
No, from the host machine, ping the Hyper-V Hyper-V virtual machine to see is response or not from the host machine.
Which means which machine are you referring to it as host?
I didn't know the IP address it got. It's in bridge mode, so it must have got a DHCP IP. I don't know what IP it got. Okay, can you just, Mr. Amir, can you just open please the Hyper-V machine just to see the IP address and then switch it off and then ping it from the host machine to ensure that the failover is working?
Well,
please.
I didn't do the failover. I was not able to.
It's running. The failover machine is running here. It's in running state.
One on Azure is running.
Although I don't know if RDP, it has no public address, so I won't be able to RDP unless we create Bastion.
Yeah, so does it have a private address?
Yeah, it has the 10.0.4.
Oh, okay. Normally we can assign it a public address separately, but yeah, if we create Bastion, we can connect to it privately as well. So yeah, Bastion is always useful just to connect to that machine. So, pinging that passive machine. So passive machine is supposed to be in Microsoft. Normally, if you have two Hyper-Vs and you make an active passive, primary and replica, so replica is always down, right? It is always off. When it becomes active, then it is power on. So it's supposed to be off, and then it is copying everything, or synchronous replication is going on while it is off. So that's how it goes there. So that's why we cannot ping it, because now you can only test it if it is working fine or not by doing a test failover or creating a test replica. There is a feature called test replica as well, or test failover. So Milap, if you can right click this turned off machine and check the replication options there in the turn off machine in Hyper-V. That's on the
replication help.
Other than that, there is no other extra replication options. Okay, just normally it in local Hyper-V replica and primary, it gives an option that hey, you want to test the replica machine. It creates another one then, and then it powers on that one, but not the exact which is in the process of replicating everything. So yeah, well, the overall what we see is that the failover actually worked as well, and it does show that we haven't seen that there in the properties of Vault, that which is the active location now. We already know that, but we can go to the properties as well and check that failover completed. Wow, okay. And there's the properties up there for the Vault in the left side. Thank you. And does it say anywhere for the replication who's the... No, it doesn't here. So this means that we can go to replicate items and replicate items, and then the virtual machine itself, click that, and the properties. Here it should show, yes, active location is Azure now in the top, from the top third one. Yeah, this one. So the failover is successful as well. Now, if you have an operating system, wow, then the same steps with an operating system you can test as well. With a free account, you can do as much as you want. No bandwidth charges on a free account. So guys, this is what I wanted to show. But thank you, Milab, for sharing all that. And normally errors do come when we go for these kind of complicated configurations. But we get a complete step-by-step, which is successful, and it's the same steps. He didn't do anything different.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you, Milab, for showing all that. And so guys, my suggestion would be to repeat this from the scratch, a totally new setup, and with an operating system, maybe Linux or Ubuntu or even server core. Those are very, light operating systems there, so we can go from there as well. Okay guys, so this is hybrid lab for Azure. And although it's showing for my machine, but it did give me replication help error. So anyway, I'll be checking out those why it's coming for me, or I will just start from the beginning and check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we were recording all that. Yeah, that's very good. So this is done, and if there are any questions, my suggestion is please repeat as much as you can. And let's go ahead with our next topic. Then, we can consider the next Tuesday to be the last day for that. We're gonna just go for some more smaller topics there. Let me just put the chat up here. Okay. Now there are just some smaller topics that we need to go for, and then we can start our cloud of Google as well. I just gave extra time to Azure. There's so many jobs for Azure and GTA, and that's why we did a lot of labs that normally I don't do. We did it in detail, so that's going to be good for our job hunting. Okay. Yeah.
Amir, are you working on the course videos topics?
Yeah, so latest one, yes. It's not that big deal to really work on it, but yes, I'm just involved in so much other things that it's I keep forgetting it. So I'll be going through each video and check what are the topics inside and completing it hopefully this weekend. So other than that, if there are any questions.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah. So here we can just delete the whole setup and then go for a new topic. So I'll just go ahead and try to go to resource groups here, and I'll go and start the resource groups. Now why I'm starting it now, because if there are any errors coming, we could actually tackle that together, because in this kind of setup, sometimes it says that no, I'm not gonna delete, do this first, and then I'm gonna delete that. So that's why. Okay, so it's deleting now, and I'm just gonna go to the other tab, right click, duplicate. So there is another service called monitor, and so that's our next few topics left there. So I'm just gonna click that in the search monitor. I've clicked opened a second tab here to go for that, and do not disturb the first one where the deletion is going on right now. So I'm gonna click the monitor here, and in the monitor, what we do is we monitor. Okay, so but what are the monitoring available for what kind of applications? Now, if you see that monitoring in every service, now we went for storage, so there were those diagnostics, and there were, suppose I go for a virtual machine created here. Oh, actually, I'm deleting everything right now. But in Azure Active Directory, in virtual machine, yes, Azure Active Directory will be still there. I'm just going to duplicate one more and show that monitoring was available separately for every virtual machine. So if I go for suppose Azure storage account had the monitoring section, virtual machine had the monitoring section, load balancer had the monitoring section, SQL databases, so they all had the monitoring section there. And if I go to Azure Active Directory, which I don't need to actually deploy, so at the end of it there is monitoring. So this kind of monitoring section was pretty much everywhere for that particular application, right? So that was audit logs and logs diagnostics. Well, a bit different from others, but they all had the monitoring already available there. But if you want to go for separate just the monitoring here, then this is the monitor application. Now this in AWS was CloudWatch, which is also purely monitoring, and this is here actual cloud monitor. So here overview, and in overview you can see monitor and visualize metrics, query and analyze logs, setup, alert and action. So obviously that's what we do in monitoring. In CloudWatch also we could create alerts, we could create events there, and select an event and then choose an action on that event. So pretty much what you do in monitoring, those main tasks are in Azure as well. If you go to activity log, and yes, it's gonna just show all the activity that is going on there, and then there is alerts. So we can create our own alert here, but this we were doing for storage account, we were doing for virtual machine. So alerts were coming for just the virtual machine related alerts. They were coming for storage related alerts or Azure Active Directory sign in related alerts if you were going to alerts in for the Azure Active Directory. But here it's the general alerts and all the services that you have in Azure. So if we go for suppose here create a resource, and you can see then that Azure obviously offers a huge amount of services here, right? So all those services, when you go there, so you can see, so alerts can be created for any of these services obviously, but this is a central point where you can actually do that. Oh, okay, where am I? Okay, that resource group deleted actually without any problemo, so that's good. Okay, I'll just monitor. So we can, but here we can create alert and attach it to anything. It's not from within the specific service. If you go for that's better, because then you're creating alert for that. But you can centrally create alerts as well. Suppose you join any job now and you want whatever you're responsible for, those services related alerts, you can create as many as you want. So I'm going to click the new alert rule here, and it all then again it asks that what is the resource for which you want to create an alert. So if I click the select resource, then you have to first obviously select a service or what resource you want there, and Azure Virtual Machine, or I can just filter by resource type here. If I go there, there is resource type databases. Is it a database that you want to create an alert for, or Azure machines? I'm just going to go for the virtual machines, but I'll just type here virtual machines, virtual machines, and then what is your subscription? It's the trial subscription, and if I go further down, it's first of all it's done here. So what resource you want to create an alert, you can select from all those services. Second thing is condition. So configure when the alert rule should trigger by selecting a signal and defining its logic. Then select condition here, and that condition is whatever condition for the virtual machines. Since you selected that resource, so all the alerts for that type of resource are coming up here. So create or update virtual machine. When or somebody deletes a virtual machine, then give an alert to me. So that would be the most interesting one that I would, or somebody restarts a virtual machine, redeploys or creates a virtual machine or updates, you can create alerts for each of these separately. Obviously, whichever virtual machine you were responsible for, if somebody is messing with that or doing it without your approval, suppose you're the senior one. So I'm just going to go for delete virtual machine. If somebody deletes a virtual machine, then send an alert to me, and then it so what kind of event level do you want it to be? Is it a critical event if somebody is deleting? Yes, it's a critical event, suppose. And status, if the event was succeeded, somebody actually succeeded in deleting the machine or failed in deleting the machine or started to delete the machine, so at that time, or all, that would be good. That whatever stage of deleting the person is doing, please alert me for that. And then I'll click done here. So I've just given the condition as well, and then it says you can define only one activity log signal per alert rule. To alert on more signals, create another alert rule. So suppose you want to be alerted for creation of virtual machine as well, or restart of virtual machine, so that would each be a separate alert as well. And then who needs to be informed about what happens? So to a virtual machine, if any virtual machine is deleted, who needs to be informed? So I'm just going to go for select action group, and then there's an action group that I can define here, which means that what email addresses should be called or emailed, or what voice calls should be done, or who should be text messaged. So I'm just going to click that create action group and give it the resource group that I don't have now. So I'm just going to create a resource group for today again, RG, and that is 30Oct2020, and but that's okay. And then action group name, suppose it's the IT team. And then next, notifications. So what kind of notifications do you want? Resource manager role, email resource manager, Azure resource manager role, which is our email address, or email, SMS, message, push, voice. And then who to send email to? So it would be IT team, suppose. It's maybe, well, if you're putting that, so when you put an email, you would just put the email address of the IT team. Suppose IT team dash at company.com. So everyone in the team would get this email address. Obviously, I just made it up. It's not there. And there is SMS carrier charges may apply if you want SMS or Azure push notification. Suppose you got the Azure app, and there would be a push notification there. There will be pop-ups there. Hey, there's an alert, or somebody you want to be called about this. So all that, I'll just stick to email. We understand that. Enable the common alert schema, which is so if I click the learn more here, then an action group is the collection of notification preferences. So that's what it does. And if I go down, so well, this is wow, step by step they have given every thing here. And so what is all this? But if I go for alert schema, yeah, common alert schema. So normally schema just means scheme of things, but common alert schema, if we define it, then it just says that any alert instance describes the resource that was affected and the cause of the alert. These instances are described here. So schema definitions just means that which kind of alert, how would they alert you really. So you don't really need to so there are some alert rule, alert ID, severity, signal type. We just configured that all. It's just a simple thing being made complicated here. So I'm just gonna press OK here. And actions. So what actions you want to take if the machine is being deleted? Do you want to create some application that does something Or do you want, if there's an ITSM, suppose there's some kind of, suppose you have ServiceNow as a application there, and that ServiceNow, you want to create a ticket in that, so you can do that if you're using ITSM application, or Azure Function, Logic App also, both can do, they can initiate some kind of application there. Suppose you want to upload some file in SharePoint because of that, or you want to just create another machine, run an application that just runs another copy of this deleted machine. So you can just make them do anything with automated tasks there, right? Well, I'm not really selecting that, so but what action in return you want if this is, so since I put some name there, I'll just put test there and tags. So any tags you want to put there, from which department, it's IT department, name, IT department, or IT teams. Please correct the following. If I go to actions, please configure the action by clicking the edit button. Oh, okay. There's, oh, I could have deleted it, so I will just delete that. And next, review plus create and create. So, well, you know, this alert I've shown before as well. In storage, I think then I showed it in virtual machine as well. And then in monitor separately, I'm showing it again. So the alert is created, or, well, yeah, it's still asking for a name. What is the alert name? VM deletion alert. Control A, Control C, tab, Control V, and save alert rule to resource group. I have this resource group here. It just went for the other resource group than the one that I created. Create alert rule. So, well, alerts, you can not only get alerted, but you can also define an action that, hey, alert me, but also do this action as well if you want to go for those automated applications there. And then there's metrics, and in metrics, it's just gonna show, it's gonna ask that what kind of metrics you want to be shown, like what is the performance you want to be shown here, and what resource type. So what is your subscription type, and then what resource type for which you want metrics. So Azure Resource Manager and global. So that's one thing. And second thing is resource types here. So again, it just shows you that, hey, asks you what do you want exactly. So select all, maybe whatever resources we have, it will show. Right now we don't have any resource, but if I click apply here, so it's supposed to just show us live metrics of what's going on instead of in terms of traffic. Suppose you want to know something about it. So obviously we should have some resources to really get the metrics. Oh, you have huge traffic here, but it's just live performance information about whatever resources you have, and you can select from there if you have those resources, which we deleted. And log files, obviously. So log analytics, Azure Monitor Log Analytics is a tool used to produce insights from Azure Monitor logs. So insights or more detailed reporting of what's inside the log files. So suppose you did create a virtual machine and you enabled all the critical logs to be created as well. So it's going to give you insights by collecting information from those logs, and how many times the virtual machine shut down, how many times the virtual machine restarted, how much traffic this virtual machine received. So all those log files. If I click the get started here, then it just goes for pretty much what we selected till now. Normally it's going to depend on if you have created the log files, then it can do anything about something. If you have log files, if you don't have log files, then obviously not much to do here in that case. Okay, so other than that, service health, so that's overall service health of Azure. No service issues found. So here in monitor, you can come here and check for service healths there, that hey, which region of Azure just went down, or which region has some issues there. So free trial, and then there's another one. There's global, there's Japan, there's Germany, and Korea, Norway, and all other regions. Do you want to know about any specific region and reporting if this region from Microsoft Azure is down or not? Otherwise, it's going to tell about any region that is down here, right? And if there's a planned maintenance, you can just go for that too. Hey, Microsoft, are you planning any maintenance? So we need to know that. So, well, they will really inform here as well. And you can create an alert on planned maintenance. If you're a partner there, obviously they will, if it's not a trial account, then obviously they should inform you on your email. Hey, we're planning to have some maintenance going on. Health advisories, normally you would see that health advisories do come, but right now I think everything is working fine. In fact, our network was also really fast, so no health advisories, and security advisories, no security advisories as well. If there was a threat, they would just put it here. So coming to service health in monitor really gives you Azure side of any degradation in performance or outage. You can see here health history, and no history of health right now. Within this subscription they've collected anything, and resource health, any of the resources that we have deployed, which we deleted everything, but if there were, so resource health would come here, and health alerts. So it does say that, hey, you want to be alerted about the health of resources, and Azure side you can just put an email there. Although if you have a commercial account, they should, actually they don't send you an email, because I've worked on pay-as-you-go and many of you have, but you can specifically go for service health that, hey, create an alert, and it should be high severity alert that we should create if our region is down, or Azure availability zone is down, or one of the data centers in availability zone is down. So you can create an alert, service health alert here as well. And then if we go to monitor, then there is workbooks here. So workbooks normally are really nice looking. How much normally charge for alert? Alerts are supposed to be free from Microsoft if it's the Microsoft site they are going for. But in AWS we know that if you want to have alerts, so it's like 500 SMS messages per 50 SMS messages per dollar, and 1,000 emails per dollar they give. But they're okay. So you got 1,000. I was gonna check that. I had no for AWS 1,000. Oh, okay, 1,000 emails, right? Not the SMS. So for Azure, how much charged for alerts? So I can just politely ask Azure. So activity log is free. Dynamic threshold 10 cents per dynamic threshold per month, and pricing Azure Monitor. There you go. Log analytics, so capacity reservations, there are two ways to pay for ingesting data into the Azure Monitor log analytics service: capacity reservations and pay-as-you-go. Capacity reservation just means that you're reserving the capacity. Hey, don't increase more than this. I'm reserving this much storage I need all the time, 1 terabyte storage all the time, all the year I need, or whatever log files are created, and then they go per GB. So 100 GB per day, $219 per day, 15% discount on pay-as-you-go. But data ingestion, 5 GB per billing account per month, $2 per GB. If you're really creating a lot of data in terms of log files, and you want to retain data for 31 days, free units included, 31 days after that, 0.12 cents per GB. So yeah, this page really tells a lot about Ping web tests, unlimited free. Okay, something is free as well. Yay. And metrics, unlimited free. So custom metrics, 150 MB per month, and these are the charges. Standard metrics is unlimited and free. Standard. So by default, what they send already, they are set to send already. you want more than that, then these are the rates, 0.01 cents per 1,000 standard API calls. So yeah, a health criteria, and then metrics, log, activity log, and it goes on. So I'm just gonna share that page here, but it didn't actually talk about alerts, right? Oh, there you go. Emails, 1,000 emails per month, $2 per 100,000 emails. Wow, that's less. That's good. SMS and voice calls, okay, they have a separate table for that. So United States, 13 cents, 100 SMS per month, and 0.00645 cents per SMS. 10 voice calls per month, 13 cents. Okay, per call. 0.013 cents per call. So yeah, that's gonna be a good reference for the exam as well. That Azure Monitor Service Charges. Oops. Okay, so other than that, I'll just put it there as well. So Amir says, man, they charge for every small thing. No wonder Bill Gates is worth some. Yeah, they will charge, but yeah, the thing is that if we are doing it on our own, suppose we are connected to Bell or Rogers, they also charge us, and also we don't have to support our data centers cost. That is much more costly per month for each company, and we have just pay as you go package. So overall, companies are still saving, but yes, every small thing they charge, definitely. Then we select whether we should go for Azure or AWS or Google Cloud. Oh yeah, so Chintan says that Microsoft, puts it all to charity. Yeah, right. I mean, like, yes, right. I think yes. Hopefully they do. Yeah. So that's why they are $1 trillion company values there. I don't think they're. Yeah, they would. That's yeah, I think positive. So here, I'm just gonna go back here to yeah. Seriously, where's the page? Monitor. Monitor. Oh, I clicked it directly. That's why I'm just gonna go back and backer. Oh. Okay. So here, yeah, I lost my. Oh yeah, there. So webhook, or sorry, workbooks. I'm saying webhook to workbooks. Seriously. So what is that? To get started, choose a report or template below, or use open to open an existing report. And there is empty quick start or recently modified workbooks. I was gonna say webhook again, so not sure what's going on. So failure analysis. So I'm just gonna open some report here to just check that what is a workbook anyway. It's actually fancy reporting with colorful reporting, and you just feel like you're the king or something like that. What am I saying? Okay, so here, performance analysis of what? The top 100 machines, top 10 machines. Obviously, there is no analysis there because there are no machines there. If I go back to workbook, I could just try to go to create a new one, right? So, or suppose I go for empty, and this workbook has no content. Use the add button to below to add items. So if I go to add and add text or add parameters, add links, add query, add metric, actually, yeah, we add query here. Well, I don't have any query, so I'll go for new one. And yes, seriously, what was wrong? Add text. So markdown text. Yeah. So TTL for the class, right? So TTL for the class. TTL just normally means time to leave, right? So done editing. But I just wanted to show you that it's very fancy reporting. Okay, done editing. Detail for class. It just shows me. Okay, let me just go to workbooks, Azure workbooks. Okay, here, Azure workbooks. So if you have resources, it's gonna show you very fancy graph related. So yeah, it's gonna give you details like this and colorful graph related reports there, and it's gonna ask that, hey, what are the data sources there? If you go for visualization, seriously, it's not virtualization, visualization. So chart, it can give you chart view like this, then grid view, and that is like this, grid view. So all you need to do is have some 10 20 machines there, 2 3 machines there, and storage accounts there, tile view there, and tile visualization, right? And tree visualization. So how you want to see that view, it's just and graph there. So that's really cool. You want to know that which resource is actually connected to what. So that would be really good to know with graph visualization. And honeycomb. So that's really cool, right? Honeycomb and composite bar. So that would also, so however you want to check that out, and you want to give some data resources. Data source is actually that the data is coming from the log files of a virtual machine, or the log files of a storage account, or log files of uh, Vnet, right? So, but overall, this is pretty much a workbook. It just gives you fancy way to see all those. So, creation of rich visual reports, that's workbook. Creation of rich visual reports. So I'll just go for work. What is workbook? Workbook overview. Okay. And if we go back here, so I'll just close that. I think I opened it from within. Oh, I'm doing that again. No. Alert schema. Yeah. So workbooks, if you have something there to get data from, then it shows you fancy, graphs and details. So I'm just going to press OK here and go to applications here and create application inside app. So no application insights app to display. Try changing your filters if you don't see. Okay, first of all, if I go to add in applications, create an application insights resource to monitor your live web application. So that is application insights that you can create, and that just means that if you have some live web application, it's going to give you all kind of performance related information there. So with application insights, you have full observability into your application across all components and dependencies of your complex distributed architecture. First of all, it is for live web application. You created a web application here. People are connecting to that online hospital application, online insurance company application, and thousands of users connecting to that. So in that case, it's going to give you live reports about how it is performing right now. So Milap says this is for SaaS or PaaS application. So yeah, if it is normally SaaS based applications, like you can say Exchange Online, SharePoint Online. Now those are Microsoft's own applications. This is supposed to be for those that we created ourselves or which are third party from Microsoft. So definitely PaaS or IaaC. But they're not supposed to be actually. SaaS has its own internal built-in monitoring, right? You don't have to really create application insight, but the main thing is if they have connected to it already, then so suppose you can see here, it works for apps on a wide variety of platforms, including .NET, Node.js, and Java EE, hosted on-premises, hybrid, or any public cloud. So third-party applications definitely, but not Microsoft's own SaaS base. Suppose it's ServiceNow.com, right? It's a third-party application. It's a separate SaaS-based application in another cloud, but they are supposed to be doing that for whatever application is in their cloud, and it's not SaaS-based. Okay, or it's not their own already. Where very good monitoring is already going on, and they offer that. So this means that we should have our own application. It includes powerful analytics tools to help you diagnose issues and to understand what users actually do with your app. It's designed to help you continuously improve performance and usability. So if you have a developer or developers and they have created a web application, they've uploaded it here, and you want the performance of that application in a public cloud or hybrid, a public plus on premises and just on premises. So it's all third-party apps, either in the cloud or if you're connected on premises to the cloud. So it covers all. So it's going to give you all information about that. So obviously it's going to ask that where is your application? Tags review, but it normally is saying instance details here. So it says choose a unique name for your application, and then region, resource mode, classic or workspace based. And that also says choose classic or workspace based. Wow, what an application, so classic, obviously this is being deprecated, discontinued already, so we can't really, it's going to be workspace based, which is currently the workspace that we got here. So, and it still connects to log analytics. So log analytics basically needs your log files, and you need to, when you're creating virtual machines, you have to define that separately, that please create a storage account for me and create log files for me, and then log analytics will grab from all the data from the log files and show you in a fancy way all the information that you want to know from log files. So what we understand from there is application insights will get information about any application that you have, and log analytics will then grab the log files and give you all the data for those coming from those log files for this application that you created or purchased from somewhere. So I'm just going to close out from here. We don't have that kind of or any application, but we get to know that, okay, this is the purpose of applications here. And if you go for virtual machines, so that's pretty straightforward, that you want to have monitoring of monitored zero, not monitored zero, workspace configuration, other onboarding options there. So normally we should have an application here, and then it's going to start monitoring. Now when you do create a virtual machine, you can even go to portal menu and virtual machine area and go to the virtual machine. So the final section of that virtual machine has so many monitoring tools already there that you can configure either from there, or you can come here to the central service called monitor and then configure from here as well. But basically all the monitoring tools we already talked about and checked in when we had created the virtual machine as well. But you can centrally configure from here. That's the same story for storage accounts. If you have storage accounts and you want to have fancy reporting, graph reporting, and grid reporting, grid visualization, graph visualization reporting, so you can go for workbooks. That's going to give you very nice looking reports for how much storage account has been used. Now this also is available when you create a storage account yourself, then this is available at that time as well, obviously. And containers. So guys, we're gonna be talking about Kubernetes and containers in next class, which I'm considering as a last class. And so we're gonna talk about Kubernetes and containers. That's another important topic. It's kind of really, if you haven't worked on containers and Kubernetes before, so it's kind of complicated as well. It's mainly for developers, that developers really develop their application in containers. And when you have, suppose, thousands of containers, how do you manage them? You use Kubernetes for that. Kubernetes for handling thousands of containers. If you have one or two containers, then you can just manage it yourself. If you have hundreds of them, you go to Kubernetes to maintain them. So we're going to talk about in Tuesday class, most probably. So yeah, and we're going to talk about Docker as well. Okay, so since the question is what is Docker, so the Docker is in easy words. If you have a virtual machine here and you have an OS on top of that, so normally containers, the OS is virtualized, or OS is virtualized for those containers. So when you have an OS, Windows 2016, suppose you install Docker small software on top of that, and on top of that, you can run container 1, container 2, container 3, container 4, container 5, right? So Docker is there to run containers, and Kubernetes is there to manage those thousands of containers being run on Docker, right? So, and containers are what? That you want an application installed on top of an operating system, and then you want another application installed on top of an operating system. So without containers, the two applications you install directly on an operating system might give you conflicts. But if you install it in a container 1, container 4 is this application, container 1 is this application. Without containers, if you install these applications on top of an operating system, they may have given conflicts, but within container, that application has an isolated environment. This application has an isolated environment, and they do not, their files don't see each other. They don't know the other container is there or not, but the two applications are accessible from the same machine or hypervisor as well. But we're going to talk in detail, in depth about containers when we go to containers and Kubernetes. We're going to create containers as well. We're going to try to connect to a container as well. So we're going to do all that. Okay, so okay, Vikas says, do we have a class on Wednesday next week? Oh, did I say Tuesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Sorry. Yeah, so we have a class. Why? Is there something on Wednesday? Okay, Milab says, what are the most common types of applications installed in containers? You name it, it's there. Any application. But yeah, you need to have a containerized image of that application available on GitHub or docker.com. So this is the biggest repository of all the containerized application. So an image of, suppose, SQL Server inside already installed container is already created there. An image of Ubuntu in a container is already installed. An image of any other application is already, if it's there, just download it and start using it, right? So that's how it works. And GitHub, it's Microsoft's big repository of containers as well. But we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we can pull it. And going for the questions, yeah, so Chintan says, can we say in VMware language Docker works like vSphere? Yes. So, you know, the hypervisor, what's the difference between hypervisor and container? Hypervisor virtualizes hardware. Underlying hardware is virtualized. Containers virtualizes the operating system. You don't need to have an operating system installed there. Some binaries of operating system are there in the container, and application dependencies, like whatever files the application depend on, and the actual application itself. So it becomes really light. You don't install the full operating system here, some binaries of that, and then the application dependencies and the whole application. So it virtualizes the operating system while hypervisor virtualizes the hardware. So that's the difference. It's just one level up. And Jen says, can we say, yeah, and DevOps, exactly. DevOps is automation of, you know, all the operations there, CI/CD and continuous integration, continuous deployment. So I say, sorry, next class on Tuesday. No, it's on Wednesday. Sorry, my bad. It's not on Tuesday. It's Wednesday. And one of the words is pull. Yeah, so you can pull the Docker image from docker.com by giving a command. Oh yes, Vikas says, no, you just meant, so yeah, my bad, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. So this Wednesday will be hopefully the last class. And then this Friday, we will have the Google Cloud day 1. Okay, so there is that, yep, we were talking about if we have containers, then you can monitor the containers. So it says monitored clusters. You can create clusters in Kubernetes, clusters of containers. But when you talk about Kubernetes, it gets more complicated, much more complicated. So first of all, it is a developer heaven. Developers love it. They've been using that for a decade now. But it's really where the companies are going towards deploying their applications. Virtual machines are not going anywhere soon. but companies are more preferring containers. Why? So we're going to check it out and how to deploy it and how to connect to it. We're going to do that, and then also what is then Kubernetes and stuff. Okay, so Milab says next class, can we also do a quick full on Prem AD migration, not hybrid, to Azure? AD migration, not hybrid. So on-prem AD migration to Azure. Okay. Yeah, you use the word quick, right? So there is nothing quick about migration of AD on Azure. Yeah, we can try. There are so many labs that were requested. If I had not 4 courses in line, whatever lab we're adding here, I have to then turn some lab in Google Cloud to theory. But the thing is that yes, I will try to do that. Hopefully it does not take my uh, very long time, because there are hundreds of scenarios that can come up that, hey, can you do this, can you do that? So right, so I'll try to go for this lab as well, that how to move the full domain controller before next class. And then yeah, this container and Kubernetes topic. Containers we can do lab, but Kubernetes it will be more theoretical. It's also complicated. I'll try to go for lab for this one as well. Without lab, there's no fun. But right. So okay. So there's that AD migration and containers, and so hopefully we will be able to do that all. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about containers and Dockers, so we're going to do some concept. And mostly you need to know the concept there, and then what Azure really offers in terms of containers. So Azure simply offers registry, which is where you collect the images of the container. Well, okay, why am I going in depth now? So we're gonna talk about all this. So hopefully the whole time is not taken up by this. I'll try to make this lab straightforward, but if it takes more time, then containers, whatever time we have, we'll try to cover that too. So here, if we have containers, obviously it's gonna monitor that. Well, yeah, that's it. So view monitored clusters, onboard monitored clusters, create alert rules for containers. Depends on if you have those resources, you can create alerts for that. Then comes the networks in preview, and just view for AD, so it will be quick view. Oh, okay, video of AD. So it's saying just video that I create, or shall I just search the best video out there? Oh, record. Okay. So it's like you're saying, what do we call it? Demo. So it'll be fast. Yeah, depends on the whole lab, but I think, yeah, it's not going to take that much time. The way we have done much more complicated stuff already. I think, but it's something that I did not do, so that's why I don't know how much time it will take. But surely I would love to do all kinds of scenarios there. So as much whatever students say, I normally try to do that because without lab we don't really understand, and we need to be job ready. So yeah, I'll try to do this as well by this Wednesday. I'll have to check all the errors if there are any errors coming, and hopefully there's no money involved. Okay guys, so here monitor and networks there. So in the network health connectivity, if you're connecting from outside. Okay, so what is the equivalent of Docker application in Azure? Oh yeah, so equivalent of Docker application is the 3 guys here. So it's create a resource and containers. So this containers area, we have Kubernetes. So obviously when you talk about Docker is something that you need to, if you have an operating system of your own, right? And then you install on top of that Dockers. So suppose this is a Windows 2016 we have, and on top of that you install Docker software. You can just go to docker.com and go for Docker desktop software. It's a free software. Docker desktop, right? Docker desktop. So that software, if you install, then you can create containers on operating system. But obviously in Azure, when you create a container, you don't have to worry about the Docker, right? So when you're creating a container, it's gonna be created on top of our Docker, and obviously Azure is providing that, so we don't have to worry about the underlying all the infrastructure of our container. We just click create a container, that's it, we're done. GitHub is for for collaborating on all the code that you have between the teams. They can share the code and upload all the queries and code there, and yeah, so it's just that. Ali says, is that possible explaining for Jenkins if it is part of your list? Jenkins, well, it's not part of my list, and Jenkins is for automation, and then there's Chef. Then there are many other automation tools. There's a long list of automation tools there, and also Jenkins is there. But yeah, we can just talk about it. I can just introduce that. But otherwise, we can just Google it, Jenkins, right? Jenkins pipeline. So when we talk about pipeline, it's always Jenkins is a free and open source automation server. Okay. It helps automate the parts of software development related to building, testing, and deploying, facilitating continuous integration and continuous delivery. So it is a server-based system that runs in servlet containers such as Apache Tomcat. So, well, it's automation, and it's basically for software development that you can attach Jenkins there. And not only that, the application development portion is automated there, but also the deployment of that application plus continuous integration and deployment and delivery. You want to keep on deploying this application to other areas after development, or you're still developing some more. Suppose there's a new service pack released for that application. So you can automate that with Jenkins to put that service pack to the applications wherever it's installed in the company, right? Well, that's what I was gonna do that next class as well. That's what I just did now, introduction, right? What it is. Most job ask Jenkins for system admin. So yes, system admin, we need to know all kinds of automation tools. Now, those jobs where they are wanting more developers, right? Developer side. But when you go for DevOps, that's a big field. DevOps, where you can cover those automation software which does not require software development. You can cover that portion of the automation software. And there are many software for automation that we can go for. I was talking. Normally, I put that list of 4 or 5 software. I am just remembering Jenkins and, well, not Jenkins, just the Chef, and there was 3, 4 more. I'm just forgetting. Terraform is another software, but no, that's for infrastructure as a service, as a code, infrastructure as a code. So yes, if Jenkins is there, this means there's software development going on. If you're a developer, go for that. If you're just going for system administrator, you should know the deployment part of that. Once the application is created, how do you deploy? But if that half learning is not enough, then yes, that job is not for us if it is a requirement there. Sometimes they say it's good to have. Then yeah, just learn something about it and try to do some YouTube labs there. I would go for Jenkins for beginners in YouTube and look for some videos, make my notes, do some labs if I can, and get ready for interview. Okay, I know this much, that's it. Capiche. If it's not their basic requirement, then yeah, they will also say, okay, you know something about it, that's good enough. Okay, but yeah, these automation tools are main requirements now after you have done cloud. You're welcome. Okay, so networks, obviously it's also talking about traffic, that it's going to show connectivity, it's going to show, and then goes Azure Cosmos DB, that is not relational, NoSQL database. If you have deployed that single table NoSQL database, then it's gonna monitor that too. With workbooks, it would need access to the log files of this. So this goes for pretty much every application here. You want to monitor that, and you want to see some fancy reports there, colorful reports there. You create a workbook for that gets attached to the log files of those services, whichever services are mentioned here. So if we go for key vaults as well, no subscription are selected. If you've created any key vaults to save some keys there, then you can create workbooks for that too. Azure Cache for Redis. Now Redis is it's big data where you deploy a lot of databases there, and then you run analytical processes or analytical applications on top of the databases. So they would just analyze, suppose last 50 years, what was sold in what region, in what community, what product was sold higher, what product was sold. So lots of complicated analytical reports it can give from a big data that is being deployed in a cluster of databases. You want to monitor those databases, then you go for this process there. And Insights Hub. So hub just means obviously like the central portion. So it can just tell you that, hey, compute machines, networking, storage, what we had resources, it's just talking about that. But we have deleted those sources, so that's why we won't get any report. But this is the Insights Hub, that what virtual machines performance is there, what container performance is there, networks, storage account performance. You can go from inside hubs as well. And then some more setting here as well, diagnostic settings. And well, there's nothing to diagnose. Data collection rules. So data collection, you want to collect data. So I'm going to click the add button here, and it says select the subscription to manage deployed resources and costs. Use resource groups like folders to organize and manage all of your resources. So it's just going to manage deploy resources and cost of those deployments. So that's very good. That you collect data about, okay, 20 virtual machines are deployed, and okay, they are 20 in number, and they are costing per hour this much, and they are costing, hopefully they have per second as well. They're costing per second this much, or they are costing per month this much. So you would have all that data collected and then given. So they have a second one as virtual machines showing there. So default rule, test, and then resource group that I created today. East US is the region. If I go for the next virtual machine, so they say that, okay, what virtual machine is there? Pick a set of machines to collect data from. The Azure Monitor Agent will be automatically installed on these machines. So currently only virtual machines in the following regions are supported, and those are the regions that are there, right? So you can add virtual machines here. This data collection rule doesn't have any virtual machines selected. Obviously, we don't have any, but it will give you that report or data about how much they're costing and how many are there, and inventory, right? And collect and deliver. So that's the next one. And then configure which data sources to collect and where to send the data to. So if I click the data source here, then they're saying what type of data you want to collect. Performance counters. So that would be performance of the processor, performance of the RAM or hard disk or network, or Windows events logs, or Linux sys logs. So how do you want to connect information? What is your source of, so log files of Linux, log files of Windows, performance and counters. So you can just say, suppose you select performance counter, so you want to select the performance of CPU, memory, disk, network. Well, obviously these are the main. Otherwise you can go custom here as well, and then it goes a bit down here if you are very familiar with the counters, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've gone to the event viewer in Windows Server 2016, 2012, 2008, so you would see that event viewer, performance counter, sorry, performance in Windows 2016. So it would have very long list of counters after counters. So different aspects of a processor or CPU, different aspects of a RAM, different aspects of disks, read only, or give me a report of writing, or give me a report of how much IOPS is going on overall. So that's a long list of what you can really select for these guys: CPU, memory, disk, network. These are the most sought after resources there, most fought after resources as well. So okay, so we get the idea that this create data collection will be collected from virtual machines. What data will be collected is for CPU of the virtual machine, memory disk, and network of the virtual machine. Where do you want to send that data? This is a source. Then you can also go for destination, and if you click the add destination, so there's that Azure Monitor logs, you want to send it there, or Azure Monitor metrics, you want to send it there, and there will be some nice looking reports created. So you can go for group of virtual machines whose information you want to collect and send to the workbooks in Azure Monitor logs and metrics. So that's pretty cool. You can go deep down and collect data for specific virtual machines and their cost as well. And if you go down to auto scale, so if that is really, it's not giving any kind of report again, we don't have any resources. Otherwise, it would just go for resource type, and that is, a lot of resources: cloud services, classic, integration service, app service, and then actual resource. What virtual machines are there? So the thing is that how much automatically they are scaling. So in terms of hard disk size, in terms of too much RAM usage, in terms of CPU usage, so how they are really consuming all the resources. Private link scopes. So if you have connected your virtual machines, use Azure Monitor private link scopes to privately connect your service to your application insights component or log analytics workspace. So again, the thing is, you're connected to your monitor application to your application insights component. So any application insights just means that all the log files created for your live web application. So you want to have that connectivity and or log analytics workspace. So this also collects your log files. So basically you want to privately connect without maybe on private IPs there, but normally it's just one service connecting to another to grab all the log files there. If I click that button here, so use Azure Monitor private link scopes to privately connect your service to your application insights component or log analytics workspace. So it's just, when we talk about private, it's about not using public IP, not using internet. It's just like you have Bastion subnet and you can privately connect. So you don't have to go through the public airspace to really, or internet to really connect to your log files there. So you have that connectivity privately available. I don't know why, just for security reason, they can just say that, okay, your connectivity will always stay private and not be exposed to internet for anyone to grab those packets, sniff those packets and hack. So for that purpose. And then support and troubleshooting, usage and estimate costs, advisor recommendations, new support request, yay! So all these are just monitor application. Really, you should be visiting that if you've been made responsible for some services and resources in Azure. So definitely this is the area. Otherwise, suppose you're have virtual machines or storage account that you're responsible for. So the monitoring links are there anyway in those dashboards as well. So guys, let's meet on Wednesday and then try to cover the lab, AD migration, the main controller migration, and second thing, containers and Kubernetes, and then we finish the course and we start Google Cloud, yay! Or yay. All right, thank you everyone, and hopefully, yeah, have a nice weekend. Thank you, bye-bye. And thank you, have a nice weekend. Thank you, bye-bye. Thank you, bye. All right, good night. Thank you, bye-bye. Thank you, bye. All right, good night.